50.
Oh yeah. I'm over here binge drinking tea. Here it is, guys. This is the music for Cathay. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's fade it out. Let's fade it out. Where is the tab that has the music? Fade it out. Let's fade it out, Bailey. Well, bam! Alright, guys, it is stream time. Let's have some fun. I let it roll, Noah. There you go. I let it go to completion. Let's go ahead and switch over to the stream. Here we go. Display capture is up, and we are live. A doodle do, my bros. Guys, how amped are you? Oh, Georgian, is it up? I didn't even know it was up, man. Here, let me have that download in the meantime. Well, I'll have it downloaded later. So it looks like we had ourselves a little reveal yesterday, as we all know. Total War Warhammer 3 has been revealed. So I know you're all here. Yeah, I know the voice crack. I'm like, how hyped are you? Stream is lagging like crazy. I'm stuck on the rendering wheel. If that's the case, go ahead and refresh. What faction am I most excited to play on release? Honestly, like Kislev, 100%. I love Slavic history. I love the history of the Kievan Rus. So you get a lot of that with Kislev. But I'm really stoked on Cathay because we've never seen really, like, all the information you and I are going to go, or you and I, all of us are going to go over today is a hodgepodge of information from the RPG compiled into a loose army list for Cathay. So I have that. We'll go through that. Couldn't find a US buy option from your Nexus link. We'll try again when I'm at home, not on a VPN. Adam, the European one is not up just yet, they said. Let me look at what they said to me. What they said to me. Working on adding keys for other regions, example EU. That should be up very soon today. Oh man, Piglet drops a huge bomb. Opens it up big and dirty with 1,000 Swedish kronu. Thank you very much, man. As my digital counterpart says, thank you very much for the donation. Holy crap, Piglet just hitting us hot and heavy with the big one. That's $118 for those who are wondering. So thank you very much, man. That is super generous of you. Oh, man. Happy birthday. Thank you very much, Dominic. It was back in December, so I appreciate the late happy birthday. Whew. Am I worried about Game 1 factions ever getting finished? We'll talk on that in a bit, Drend. So what I want to do, and it's like when you open up with that $100 donation, you're like, what do I do with my hands? We're gonna we're gonna watch through the trailer. And if you haven't already, please go and check out Indie Pride's channel. Him and I did a stream just yesterday discussing a lot of stuff. So we're gonna rehash some of those questions. We're gonna rehash some of those concepts, and it's gonna be loosely the same structure of video. We're gonna talk about the trailer real quick, and we'll go through some stuff that you guys have questions wise and so on and so forth. I have a ton of documents to go through. That I've drafted up and everything like that. So we'll go through those. Bailey is vehemently breathing on my leg right now. So let's go ahead and do it. Let's do it. Let's hash it out, as you would say, clever polar bear, you bastard. Yeah. Leslie asked, did I see the PC Gamer article interview talking about how the game 3 map is apparently 2 times the size of the Vortex campaign? Oh yeah. So let's watch this real quick together. Drak von Karstein says, hello Italian Daddy, 9 legendary lords for the game, 4 Chaos, 2 Kislev, 2 Cathay, and 1 Chaos Undivided. Do you think it will be new Chaos faction or the existing one revamped? Drak, I think that a lot of us, I know Indy and I were going over this yesterday too, we're all kind of in that agreement. It's 4 Chaos Demon Gods, or lords probably, and then 2 Kislev, 2 Cathay, and 1 Undivided. Makes the most sense. And I do think that they'll probably add to the existing one. But let's go ahead and start this up. Let's go through. Let's have some fun. Oh, plus Realm of Chaos. For sure, the Realm of Chaos. Oh, the music is so good. You hate bald people milking cookies? Oh. You guys got a new streamer.
My child, there is so much to tell you, that I have run out of time. The sacrifice I made was not enough.
Honestly, I'm so like stuck between this music and the one from Vampire Coast is my favorite, right?
Corruption. Obsession.
Havoc doesn't know anything about Warhammer. Don't listen to him. I've seen you, Raider. Thank you very much.
You must face these demons.
This stream is brought to you by Bang. It's not. It's really not. This is going to go poorly, trust me. Ooh. Ooh, that's good. Mm. God, just the ripping guitar, the dun 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 dun. I didn't mean to sound like Terminator right there, but it happened. Right here, this is my favorite part with the music just ripping and gripping. Oh. Man, it's so good. Yeah, Gogol45 said, I think that's definitely Kugoth Plaguefather, just because of the cowl hood he's wearing. And I totally agree with you now. I was trying to find, I knew that there was pictures of him with the hood. I couldn't find him. And I finally did find it. And wha-bam! Little Grand Cathay, little younger narrator, or so it looks to be. So, coming 2021, coming right now for me. So, Thank you again, Gogol, for that donation, and thank you to our newest member here, Iceni Raider. Thank you very, very, very much, dude. Anytime you guys sign up to become members of the channel, it means so much to me, so thank you very much. I'm actually gonna... Let me see something. Do you mind if I added those? So we got some stuff, guys. We got tons of stuff to go through. We got RPG books, we got rule books, we got army books, we got a lot of the Black Library books, because we actually have a hint from that Warhammer community post as to a possible legendary lord for Cathay. We'll go over that. So much stuff. So let's just quickly kind of scrub through portions of the video. We've gone through a lot of stuff already. Let me bring up that community post too after this. And computer, bring up the files on the community post. Okay, like, Indy and I were talking about this, like, the moan of pleasure I gave out, maybe not pleasure, but just like the moan of like, oh my god, when I saw the Ice Guard, because we all saw the yeah. So if you guys have not purchased yet, you can absolutely purchase through my affiliate link. And it's a battle. Who do you want to support? Do you want to support H for Havoc? Do you want to support myself? Or do you want to support Indie Pride? We all now have Nexus, and all of our Nexuses are active with Warhammer 3. I hope yours is, Havoc. So you can go ahead and... oh, I did? Thank you, Ryan. I'll take a look at that right now. You can go ahead and use this if you'd like to pre-purchase the game. Now... Europe is not on there just yet. I believe it's going to go on later today, but it is right there for you. And if you are in Europe, just wait till later today or tomorrow and you'll be able to activate that. It does help me out a ton. I think we get 12.5% commission and you get a direct Steam key. They have a relationship directly with them. So it's not that you're going to be like, oh, I guess I'm going to get a key that works. So let me take a look here. Matt Jara said, do you think with adding all the new factions and having to possibly redo all the old siege maps being so daunting that it would probably not happen? Matt, that's a really good question. But I think that honestly, if the siege mechanics exist in a way that it is really exciting and fun, I don't think anyone would ever, I don't think they'll care. Like... Maybe they'll only apply it to Game 3 Vortex campaign. Let's just call it the Realm of Chaos campaign, because they talk about going to the Realm of Chaos in the Steam page. So I think that makes sense. We'll call it the Realm of Chaos campaign to differentiate it from the Vortex campaign. And we'll call the Game 3 version of Mortal Empires the Immortal Empires. Because someone was saying that would be a really cool name for it back in like the Game 2 launch. And I was like, damn, that is a really cool name for it. So I think if Immortal Empires and the Realm of Chaos campaign, I think if they revamped all of the mechanics for Siege and stuff like that, it would probably apply across the board, because I would assume that an Immortal Empires map would have to have custom reshaping of those individual settlements and the way all those work. You know, like Mortal Empires changed the way that the Warhammer 1 map works, because you have smaller, different settlements, different sizes of the provinces and stuff like that. So it will probably be the same thing. So it'll kind of force them to do all that in one go. But I think a better question is, how will they apply the siege maps to not be cookie cutter? And I don't know if they will. We have no idea. But I think that's one of the biggest gripes, right? Is that you're always attacking from one angle. They're always like perfectly placed inside of a mountain or something like that, or you're only seeing one wall. So is that always going to be the case? Is it going to randomly choose one of 5 maps? We really don't have any idea on how that's going to work. So hopefully that answered you. I think I got the rest of them. Adam Felshman, got that. Let me go back down. Daniel said, what did you say, Daniel? Let me check. Notice that the trailer Bloodthirster is different from the ones on the store page. The store page Bloodthirster also has the same head horn design as Kabanda. Could this be the legendary lord for Khorne? Let's take a look. I have not looked at the Steam powered page. we go. Where were you seeing this? And by the way, thank you. I read your question and just completely glazed over the actual donation itself. So thank you very much, Daniel. I really appreciate that, dude. And if I don't explicitly thank you for a donation, I read the question out and I kind of roll from there. I'm not trying to be insulting. I'm genuinely very appreciative. So thank you very, very, very much. Oh, this guy right here. I think I actually have the picture. Let me check. This picture. No, I don't think it's Kabanda. I mean, so Chaos Demons are interchangeable, right? You can see them in 40K, Age of Sigmar, or Warhammer Fantasy, and that was what they were designed to be like. I wouldn't say that this is Kabanda, even though I guess you could really make that that distinction, that hard distinction. But I just think it's just a stylistic way to draw a Bloodthirster. I think if they were to choose a Legendary Lord that is a Chaos Greater Demon, it would be Scarbrand, because he is just already exists in the 8th edition Warhammer Army book. It just makes a lot of sense. Man, this bang thing is pretty good, but I know it's going to start ripping me up soon. My brain's going to start scrambling and I'll be like, yeah, guys. Yeah, like, I would imagine that they'll probably have multiple, like 2 or 3 versions of a Bloodthirster, just like they've got like 2 or 3 models of an Ancient Treeman or 2 or 3 models of a specific type of Lord. I'm sure there'll be a variety that'll randomly be chosen, right? Yeah, thank you very much, Yawning. I really appreciate that. Yawning was saying he just used the link to yeah, head variants, just like Dov said. It's definitely going to be like some sort of variance, so that it's not just the same model over and over. But yeah, just like Yawning was saying, he used the link in my description for Nexus to purchase the game, so you can go with that. It really helps me out. But thank you very much if you do. Did my donation not go through? Let me take a look. Oh, if you use the Streamlabs link, I got to look at those. I'm sorry about that. Rohirrim, it definitely went through. I just don't have it up. Let me look. And I guess this is a good time to talk about the different types of Bloodthirster. And this is evident from... So in my video, I said Age of Sigmar is when we get the new Bloodthirster. I forgot that they did the new Bloodthirster in End Times. But there's definitely a fleshing out of it in Age of Sigmar and in the Blades of Khorne. But also there is in End Times too. We have 2 different types of Bloodthirster, right? The one of Unfettered Fury and the other one is... Wrath of Khorne, I think it is. Let me take a look here, though. Yeah, Rohirrim, it actually looks like if you did a donation through Streamlabs, I didn't see it. Let me see if I have the right link in here real quick for you. Yep, that would explain that. Okay, let me fix that. So it's supposed to be the Streamlabs link, and that's the Stream Elements link. Give me 1 sec, and I will fix that for you. I switched off of... Why does it have that thumbnail? YouTube is not my friend at all, ever. But thanks for employing me, YouTube, on that note. Okay, so I just fixed it. The link in my description should be this link. If I was smart, I would be so dangerous. But instead, I am a dumb man. Okay, let me look at that donation here. I can pop over to Stream Elements. I'll be able to find it. But going forward, it is now fixed. There shouldn't be any issues. I apologize for that. It's always like, hey, we don't recognize this account. You want to check your phone? Okay. Now there's a cat meowing in the background. This is just this day has become hectic fast. Okay. Here it is. Here it is. Rohirrim, I got it right here. $15 tip from you, Big Daddy, saying, figure I'll get my usual handful of money to Sparty out before we get in too deep. Long time no see. Life's not been super kind to me, but I won't bother you with that. Warhammer 3 hype. I'm hyped for it all. Really excited to brainstorm about Cathay, especially. Well, shit, man. I hope you're doing all right, dude. Yeah, it's really not great to hear. Anytime any of you are not doing well, it does not make me feel good. So please, by all means, if you ever need to feel like you need to vent or talk to people, please join the Discord. Feel free to message myself or just message Indie Pride, because I know he doesn't want to be bothered. But join the Discord. Feel free to talk amongst all of us. You can bash stuff about Total War Warhammer. We can talk about Bannerlord. We can talk about Crusader Kings 3. So there's a link to that in the description. So Rohirrim, I think you're on there, right? If not, make sure you are, and we can talk later, man. Let's get back to some hype here. I think I have got it right in here. So where is my portion I put up for this? So Greater Demons, like I was saying, especially when it comes to Khorne, they got 2 different variations. And the variations, either just a kind of standard edition one where it's like, hey, here's a really cool axe and whip, just like you would expect. Or here is a 2-handed axe, a great axe. And there we go. Oh, well, that just did not go like I wanted it to go. Look at this. It's just gone all over the place of all the things I was going to discuss with you guys. Okay, so there's the Wrath of Khorne one. You can see it's kind of got the one that we saw in the trailer with the big axe and the whip. Then you get to the other one here, Unfettered Fury, which is, I believe, the one... Oh, this is the one with the axe. Unfettered Fury is the one with the axe and the whip. And the one of Wrath of Khorne is the one with heavy armor, Wrath Axe of Blood, and Blood Flail. I thought one just had 2 axes, and I don't know if I put the right one up here. God damn, I'm so dumb. But we'll go back to that. I have everything down. Another donation here. Sir Patrick the Great, super hyped. I saw the trailer after... Oh, your hernia surgery yesterday. These meds are great. You're great. Oh my God. Thank you very much, dude. There's 3. There's 3. Okay, that's right. Insensate Rage. That's the other one. I'm like, I know there's one with Exalted, Unfettered Fury, Insensate Rage, Wrath of Khorne. That's it. That is it. I know there is one with a 2-handed axe, and I put together a real quick document here with the lovely help of Weapon Master 470, who has helped me very much over the years, as well as Matt Ross, who has helped me, and Crisps sometimes helps with fantasy. He's the 40K guy. So I've got some reference stuff we can talk about. But let's jump back over to this trailer. Let's move a little bit forward. And we get, obviously, we have Katarine, soon to be Tsarina Katarine. The big thing here is we know that Boris is still alive.
Not enough. Thank you for the donation. I have run out of time. The sacrifice I made was not enough. The dark gods still feed on our transgression.
So that was Boris Ursus, her not husband, her dad, the Red Tsar there. So we have him already kind of in existence. He's not dead quite yet. We know that he goes to the Chaos Wastes in the north, and he vanishes and he comes back. He's on Misha's back. Isn't that Misha? No, Misha's that's from Warcraft. Whoops, wrong bear. But my point still is that he comes back, and Katarine does not become the Tsarina for a little bit. And we know that she becomes a Tsarina, I think it's 12 or 15 years after the coronation of Karl Franz. So it's kind of hard to peg what timeline this is actually in. Because if we look at the narrator at the end, he has the same, gilded buttons down his chest, little chain that we saw the narrator have in Warhammer 1, that we see that the narrator has in the teaser. It's that same kind of like chain sash with the gilded icons. So it's pretty interesting here to see that, and to see maybe that this might take place slightly before the coronation of Karl Franz. And again, I'm speculating that that's the narrator. It makes the most sense, and a lot of you guys have really jumped on that bandwagon with me. A lot of people think that that narrator is Be'lakor, and that I think is pretty wild, but then again, we saw him become Sarthoriel in the Warhammer 1 cinematic. And this is prior, of course, to him losing his eye and all this stuff, and he looks a little bit sharper. He looks a little bit more like Ocean's 11 George Clooney, and less like George Clooney in that one Netflix special that he just came out, where he just looks like haggard and old. So it's definitely a younger version of the narrator. So didn't Franz and Katarine bang? I don't know about that. Just kidding. Let me look at this donation real quick. Buck H says, massive $20 donation. Thank you very much, dude. Do you think that the old world factions will be able to travel to the new Chaos map? For example, push Chaos back to the gate, I'm guessing, and then continue fighting in their realm, or will it be Chaos only? I don't know, Buck. We've made the description, or the distinction that the Mortal Empires campaign would be called Immortal Empires in Game 3. And this is, again, just speculative names that we can use for the discussion here. And the Realm of Chaos campaign, the equivalent of the Warhammer or Game 3 Vortex campaign, again, speculative name here. If the Realm of Chaos campaign takes place and the goal is to push things out or back out of the northern and southern poles of the Chaos Gate and then into it, could make sense to maybe put that into the Immortal Empires, but I don't know, right? The Mortal Empires campaign doesn't have the Vortex, doesn't have any portion of it really as a sticking point. It's just simply paint the map as your legendary lord. I would think the Immortal Empires campaign, which would feature your Game 1 and 2 races, would not have a Chaos Gate or realm mechanic. Or maybe it does in a very finite way. Like, if you think about all this stuff for the mechanics of the Warhammer 2 races, or just the races that are present in the Vortex campaign, they don't have any faction mechanic that hinges upon the Vortex campaign. And I think that in a Realm of Chaos campaign, we would probably have faction mechanics that are hinge upon the Realm of Chaos, or at least benefit from it. So I would imagine that it can't really be too baked into it, but I'm not really sure. We don't really know. This is all like wild conjecture, so it's just kind of like, let's get excited and talk about some things. Matt Jara said, what if Boris is in the Chaos Wastes like Teclis is in Lustria? I think that's very doable. And I think like if we picked the game up right now at where that note is, it sounds like he's already in the Chaos Wastes. So it would make sense if we're saying the 2 legendary lords for if we're saying 2 Cathay, 2 Kislev, 4 Chaos Demon, and 1 Chaos Undivided legendary lord, it would make sense to have Boris up there if he's already kind of there already. And Katarine over here probably around Erengrad or around Kislev actual. If this is 15 years in the future, give Carl a beard. Give him a beard and also like a really bad like half sleeve tattoo and like a dark past, and he's a volunteer firefighter. That sounds like Karl Franz to me. Soya said, what are the flying corn demons in the announcement splash image? Are those reskinned Furies or something new? There are flying units in whose roster? Carlito Franz. Carlito Franz, man.
Thank you for the donation.
That's a good question. I mean, they could be reskinned Furies. I haven't could also be I'm trying to think. There are flying units of Tzeentch, but they look like stingrays. Yeah, Chaos Furies is probably it. Is probably where my brain goes. I had thought about Zangors being a pretty cool addition to the army. I think that'd be really sick to kind of have like a rank and file Chaos Demon that was not in 8th edition Fantasy. Do you think the Demon Legendary Lords are going to be? We're going to get to that, Colby.
Thank you for the donation.
$3,000 PCs still can't hit 60 frames a second. All right, so let's go further into this. We've got the Chaos Demons here. So we've got Kugoth Plaguefather, which I think we all can kind of agree that is Kugoth here. Or it's supposed to just be Nurgle, but I think this is supposed to actually now be the Greater Chaos Demons. That's a good question. Are Bloodthirsters bigger than Hero Titans? And I actually don't know their scale. Because the 8th edition Hero Titan was large and in charge above the 6th edition Warhammer Fantasy Chaos Demon, which was squat and stupid looking. So I have not seen a Hero Titan model next to a Bloodthirster to get a sense of scale, and there's nothing that tells me really in the lore that says the Hero Titan is X amount of stories tall or anything like that. I'm not really sure, to be honest. So I've paused here, and we've talked about this plenty of times here now, but I'm very dead set on this being Games Workshop. What happens if you type in P first in anyone's browser? You can see what happens there. Or R. Let's go to Age of Sigmar. Let's go to Grand Order of Chaos. Let's go to Hedonites of Slaanesh. So let's go to this image in specific. This one right here. Like that angle right there just looks exactly like this. Oop, exactly like this face. And I'm stoked with this. I think that this is a really good angle to take. And I know that the FAQ says right here. I know this is what the FAQ says, right? Is Total War Warhammer 3 going to be set during the end times and feature stuff from Age of Sigmar? And I know Indie Pride and I are both going to be doing a video on this, so you can get our separate thoughts on it outside of this to kind of like jam around. But they said no. They said no, it's not. It's going to pull from 8th edition fantasy. And I think that this is an unfortunate kind of damning sentence, because this is clearly the new Chaos Demon, and I'm cool with that. I think that this answer maybe should have been along the lines of, is Total War Warhammer 3 going to be set during the end times? I just end it there, and then just say, no, it will not be set during the end times, but we will pull from the updated Chaos Demon model range for Age of Sigmar. I think that would be a really cool sentence, because it gets you really excited, because he is a lot more, I guess you could say, T for teen, right? He's a Peggy 16 kind of character. And he's less of the, and I'm personally, I think the old Slaanesh trope of like, oh, here comes a demonette with 9 tits. I'm like, oh, cool. I remember when I was 14 and I cared. Like, it just, to me, I've never liked Slaanesh because it seemed like the edgiest of the Chaos Guards. He's even called the Dark Prince. I mean, that is like, I'd rather have like 1980s Korn, who is just like on his throne of skulls, ripping on an air guitar, like slapping his tongue on the whammy bar. Like, I'd rather have that, which is, tropey and over the top, versus like the Dark Prince. Like, I've never been a fan. Some people do, and that's cool. You can like it. I don't really like that as much. Korn is always going to be my favorite, next to Tzeentch, followed last by Nurgle, because I did not like Nurgle until they changed his lore to be more about death and rebirth and less about pestilence and obesity. And that's really what it was in the later or earliest portions of the lore, was more about like, it's about decay, it's about attrition, it's about disease, it's about obesity, it's about just nothing fun. And I like how Nurgle has become a lot more interesting, a lot more diverse, and a lot more like, you could side with Nurgle, right? Like you can see someone said Papa Nurgle cares about you. Like, I like that about Nurgle, about how it is supposed to be. This is death and rebirth. I'm not trying to do anything other than what is supposed to happen as a natural form of order in the universe. Like, that is cool to me. I like that stance. But again, I think that taking this stance here with the Slaaneshi demons is really cool. Like, look at some of the options you've got now, because I actually do not like. That was another reason. Slaanesh always had very strong demons in 8th edition, because a lot of them could traverse the map very quickly. They had high initiative rolls, so they were able to attack usually first. Those were really huge benefits. But their demons looked so boring and bland compared to like the roided out bloodletters, which then became like really spindly bloodletters, or like the awesome looking just purple and blue and reddish flames of Tzeentch. Like, Tzeentch had a lot of character. I just never thought that Slaanesh had a lot of character until now. The Hedonites of Slaanesh have a really awesome range here. Like, here's the new Demonettes. They look really cool. They look very, like, they look terrifying, to be honest, too. And their claws aren't over the top and just kind of like cringy looking. I really, really like that stance. Or the Seekers of Slaanesh here. Like, look at this. Like, way better looking models. Hellstriders, although I think these might be some of the older ones. I can't remember the 8th edition models for Slaanesh because I always glossed over them. I never really cared. No, Yanni, you'll get everything. The Fiends are pretty sweet too. I mean, I'm cool with the Fiends having like 45 boobs because this is like a Slaaneshi Chaos spawn, basically. Not really, but I'm cool with that approach. Like, I think that this is cool because it is a demon. I like that, like, through and through. What was this donation here real quick? Goggle said, I prefer the Age of Sigmar Slaanesh designs because they're deadly, lithe, and more in line with other gods' updated looks. Old Slaanesh is just clunky. 100%. You put everything I just said into one simple sentence, and it made it sound much better. Painting Coach is here, guys. Everyone, please go and check out the Painting Coach's channel. He does tons of content painting all sorts of miniatures, mainly of the Warhammer variety, but he does have some off Games Workshop stuff that you can find, and it is very awesome and fun to follow. So please go and check out the Painting Coach. He has a great YouTube channel. Same Chaos, isn't it a bit awkward to place in the same Chaos faction Archaon, Kolek, and Be'lakor? Sure, Drac, but I mean, not as badly as Malice and Malekith, who are always kind of at each other's throats, you know? I think it just, you're looking at the race, then you're choosing a faction of that race. Think of it that way. Oh, Big Daddy Falcon here too. Man, there's so many folks checking in. Guys, please do make sure you are liking the stream. We have 889 people, or 889? 890 now people watching the stream, but only 275 likes. Pump those likes up, my bros. We need to get those high. We need it to 500 minimum. We got to get hot and heavy today. We're all just juiced up. Tons of excitement. All right, let's jump back to this here. Do they think you'll do the same rights mechanics that the Races and Vortex have in the third game, main campaign, or do something different? SSMCS, thank you very much for the donation. And I'm not sure. I really like the rights, and I hope they don't get rid of them. If they like morph them or change them a little bit, maybe they have to do with certain like warship or something of the sort. If you're like the Chaos Demons, I could be down with that, but I definitely want them to stick with the rights. Going for a little bit, we get Big Daddy Tzeentch here. Now, interesting that this doesn't have 2 heads, and Kairos Fateweaver doth have 2 heads. Back to Chaos, go to Disciples of Tzeentch. Diego Flores dropping in a donation as well, saying, all I want is my Chaos Dwarfs and to be allowed to spam Bear Cavalry. Hopefully soon on the Chaos Dwarfs, but I totally feel you on the Bear Cav. Look at that. Look at that awesome model for Kairos at the paltry sum of $140. So, if this is Sarthoriel, which I keep joking about with Indie Pride, that it is going to be Sarthoriel and you won't get to have the cool Kairos Fateweaver, it would be kind of disappointing, but I could understand because it already exists, but I would really be disappointed. And then another Bloodthirster.
You must face these demons.
Khorne would have no access to magic. Well, he himself would probably, like, a Khorne-based faction would not. So, let's take a look now at some other stuff in this trailer here, because we do see some stuff on the left and right sides of Lady Katarine here, and we definitely see some Kossars, right? Now, the Kossars in the allied contingent, they had a great axe and a bow and arrow. We see a bow and arrow here on the right side. We see swords. So maybe these aren't the Kossars. Maybe they're just the partisans. They could be the Hearthguard from Graham McNeil's novel Ice and Fire. There's a lot of different options here. So I'm excited to kind of really get some more information about how the roster will play out for Kislev. This is going to be very similar to Empire with a lot of quote unquote state troops, you know, just basic line infantry with a lot of different variations of that line infantry? Or will we see a lot of stylized and hybrid units like we do actually see with the Allied contingent roster? The Allied contingent roster has a lot of overlapping things, like the Streltsy themselves have guns that have halberds on them. So, okay, that's really sick. And we kind of get that when we look at, I think it's the Blackjack, the Vampire Coast Regiment of Renown that has their halberds on their guns, basically. But also when we look at the Kossars, two-handed great axes with a bow and arrow. That's a really cool kind of Lothern Seaguard style of unit. So I hope we get a lot of hybrids and less of a Kislev-themed Empire roster, because we went through our roster on this before, and we're going to go through it after this video here. But let's keep going. Oh, look what I've done. Then we get this little guy. Now this guy could be one of two things. The Druzhnia? I know it's not Druzhnik. I'm sure Falcon can correct me later in private when he bashes me for my terrible Russian pronunciation of things. But the Black Spot. Thank you, Crisps. But Brewski. Professor Pone with the knee slappers all the time. Druzhnia. Now, that was like more of an Empire captain. And then there's the Boyar, which is more of an Empire general. So that's one of either one of these. I can bash you Huawei. Alphix definitely can. You make fun of my language. This is funny. This is not funny. And then in the background there, we get a little bit of those Ungol horse archers. Now, the real like dead giveaway is the bow and arrow on his back. And then these hats, those hats are in all of the art represented for the Ungol horse archers. So, Druzhina? Okay. Oh, so Druzhina. Okay. Okay, I'm learning. Y'all of the North, thank you very much, man. $3 donation out of you with a fist bump. Bumping it up with that creepy little guy.
Thank you for the donation.
No, Kagesh, you might be thinking of, or Sagesh, you might be thinking of the Kurgan. Yeah, you're usually bare-chested in the art, too. Good call on that unnamed channel. They're bare-chested with those hats and a bow and arrow on a light horse. It's actually kind of cool the way you could tie this into history, right? Like, well, I think that's all of Warhammer, right? Especially for the Empire factions and Bretonnia. It's basically, hey, how do we make fantastical European history? And when we look at Kiev and Rus, they pull a lot of influence in from the Varangians, which is, you know, Norway and Sweden. Oops. They have Slavic influence because that's predominantly what they are part of, the Kiev and Rus with Eastern Slavic group. And then they have a lot of Pecheneg influence as they pushed into the Pecheneg Empire before, of course, like the 800s, 900s. So, not Pecheneg Empire, the Khazaria, sorry. So you get a lot of that influence across this army so far. And I think that that's going to be really fun to see kind of come to life here. You get a lot of that really cool like lamellar armor, those overlapping scales, all that kind of fun look and aesthetic as we jump into the Bear Cav looking hot and girthy. Now I wonder, so here's what I wonder for the Bear Cav. If we get Ogre Kingdoms in as the pre-order race or as the next race pack, whatever timeline we get them, we have to get their Big Daddy Cavalry unit, right? Let's go jump over here again. Age of Sigmar. I thought they were in order, actually. No, Ogar Tribes. These guys right here, where are they? These Thunder Tusks. How big these things. Mournfang is what I was thinking of. Mournfang is what I'm thinking of. So Mournfang aren't like huge unit packs. I know there's the bigger one, right? The bigger dudes that are on huge beasts. Mournfang, though, are still pretty large. Thunder Tusk there is still huge. So I wonder if a Thunder Tusk and the Stonehorn would be a single entity model, And the Mournfang, I don't know if the Mournfang itself would be like the Altdorf Griffites, where it's a small monstrous cav unit, or if it would be an even smaller monstrous cav unit. Because these things are huge, especially the bear cav, dude, right? Like the bear cav is larger than the Altdorf Griffite thing, the Demogryph. So I don't know if it's more along the lines of what we get when we look at the Hippogriff riders for Bretonnia, where it's only 3. So maybe it would be something like that. Monstrous cavalry with an even smaller monstrous cavalry side, like an in-between unit between a single entity and the largest monstrous cav, or the largest, smallest monstrous cav group. So I wonder if that's how they're going to do that. But let's keep pushing forward on that. And then we get the winged lancers here, the hussars, as it were. Now, there's 2 types of these. There's the winged lancers, and then there is the Griffin Legion. The Griffin Legion is kind of more of an elite unit, so I look at the Griffin Legion as a possible regiment of renown for these guys. And I think that would be pretty fun. I don't know what it would include as far as regiment renown stuff goes, because I don't think we really know what that is going to be. Like, is there going to be a conventional regiment renown? Are they going to stick with the same format of 1 and 2? I imagine we're not going to get too far of a departure from 2, right? I mean, great sags are also massive. That's a good point, Logos. That's a really good point. Thank you. Griffin Legion has 2 wings on its back. Also a good call. So this would just be your normal winged lancer. Oh. Oh, those skull crushers are looking pretty good. Now, the cool thing about this, though, is a skull crusher and a blood crusher are the same thing. Swap out the rider. Skull crusher is a mortal on top, like a chosen of Khorne, basically, and then a blood crusher has got a bloodletter on top. So you can already see from this that you just get 2 units right out the gate, because we're going to see bloodletters in a little bit. Pop them on here, you got blood crushers. Now, what I think would be interesting too is, this is the only mortal unit we see from Chaos in this entire trailer, and that says to me that the Chaos demons will obviously not just be demons. I think that this is the clear hint that Chaos demons will also have mortal bodies included in them. And what this also tells me is those mortal bodies will probably jump into an undivided list. Like, I bet you that an undivided list will have access to Mark of Khorne style units or the Skull Crushers, but it wouldn't have access to Blood Crushers. It won't have access to the Khorne Chariot or the Khorne Greater Demon, maybe. I think the Undivided would just simply have access to the Marks and maybe the line infantry unit for them. I think that's how they'll kind of try to balance it. And I think that's fair, and that's kind of how it was, right? You didn't have that full-on access. Undivided demons like Furies, for example. Yeah, Derulo, definitely 100%. We were saying that these are Furies right here. Yes, Voodoo Champ, I am 100%. I'm 2nd generation American Italian. Oh, we'll take a look at that right now, SFP. But Como Topic made a donation saying, I was pumped to see the trailer. After I saw it, I said, I can't wait to see how pumped you are about this. And after seeing your video, I'm even more pumped. Well, I'm glad I could spread the hype like herpes. Iceni Raider said there is some Griffin Legion concept art on the Warhammer community page. We're going to go there in just a little bit. What's up, bro? Whoa! Rapid fire. Falcon dropping 333 rubles. Rubles, right? Happy birthday, mate. Your magnificent bald beard makes me happy every time I see it. Falcon, my birthday was December 1st. I think I'm taking this as a late happy birthday. So thank you very much, dude. And thank you for teaching me the wild ways of multiplayer. You in turn are the only reason I know what I'm talking about. Kyle Sinet says, do you think Warriors of Chaos will get a new mechanic where the more you devote yourself to a specific god, the better tier units you get, sort of like a Norska? Kyle, yes. And I'm going to go into that in a little bit too here. Maybe I'll just go into it now, but let me look at this other question. We'll jump back to that. Brandon Smith, Kyle, did you get a chance to check out Slaanesh's Mortal line that is coming out later this month for AOS? A little bit. I'm more excited for the new Lumineth Realm Lords because I'm going to finally put together a list. Because I have the box over there, like the launch box. And thank you very much for the donation as well, Brandon. But Kyle said, do you think Warriors of Chaos will get a new mechanic where the more you devote yourself to a specific god, the better units you get, sort of like Norska? I think that's 100% what they'll probably do. I bet you that the undivided campaign, whatever it is, will probably have to do with devoting yourself to a specific god and choosing maybe what would be interesting is if there's like, okay, you can only dedicate 500 total points to the Chaos Gods, and each Chaos God has like 100 points you can possibly donate to. So you're capped, and you can't just do this way. You can't go, okay, I'm gonna dedicate 100 to all progressively. You're locked into doing all one, or all one a little bit of another, or doing little bits of each one. This way, you are kind of dedicating yourself to one god or trying to split things to get specific units from certain gods. I think that'd be really cool if it had that 4-tier gauge like you get with Norska, where I'm going to donate to the Hound, to the Raven, to the Serpent, so on and so forth. I think that would be a really cool way to do that. YouTube, I'm so sorry, man. Dude, this has been coming out. It's just been pulling my attention away. Never. No, it'll probably be what's it called? Mallow, whatever the hell. I just really like that helmet. I really dig that look. Matt Jara dropping another $10 donation. Can't wait to see you in turn dress up as the Dark Gods for another hot dog eating free for all at lunch at launch. Dude, how great would it be if I dressed up like Katarine? Like, oh, Kislev needs to be saved. Let's see, we got another donation here from Gallahan saying, Turns had so many birthdays on stream that now they're carrying over to Sparty. Thank you very much, Gallahan. $5 donation out of you. Always appreciate it. And guys, like I've been saying all stream, if you have not yet pre-ordered or purchased, well, pre-purchased, whatever the hell the word I'm trying to say, for Warhammer 3, please go ahead and do it through my Nexus. It helps me out a ton. I get like 12% commit. It's like $6 for every purchase through it. So really, really helps me out a ton. Thank you very much so far, guys, for all these donations. Like this is huge. Like you guys are so generous, and I really, really appreciate it. So thank you very, very much. Thank you. Do you think that each Chaos faction will act as a conqueror rather than a horde? Because I would rather, honestly, I don't. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, we want new horde mechanics and blah, 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 blah. I kind of want them to abandon horde mechanics. I don't like horde. I've never enjoyed the Chaos faction in Warhammer, but I love them on tabletop and I love their lore. I'm not a fan of the Beastman faction because I don't like horde. I don't like playing the greenskin stuff for the most part, even though they're not really horde. I just don't. I personally don't like playing any kind of horde faction. Someone said something about the Kreml Guard, and we're going to get to that right now, Derulo. So let's go a little bit further. We definitely get these blood letters right here. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Oh, we were going to talk about this too. You get a formation of the bear calves slamming into things to kind of give you a frame of reference on how large they are compared to other units. So maybe they aren't as big as I'm thinking they will be. So Viking Skog said, I like the pseudo-horde Vampire Coast. I totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. Vampire Coast might be my favorite campaign. Get the blood letter, or the bloodthirst, not blood letters, jumping in here. So look at this sweet armor too. Remember what I was saying about like that cool Varangian looking armor? Now, oh no, that was the guy's hammer I wanted to look at. So look at this dude's hammer. And someone can tell me what, Crisps, are you here? Look at him. He just doesn't say anything. This is so crisps. Ugh. Yeah, okay, he's here. What is the name of... It's predominantly in Russian architecture. It's influenced by Byzantines, though, or Eastern Roman Emperor, or Eastern Roman Empire. And it's got, like, you know, it's like you predominantly see it on their palaces, on their cathedrals of sorts. Like, it's the dome with the sharp steeple on it. What is that called? It looks like an onion, to put it, I guess, simply. Is it really called an onion dome? A kupol? It's called a kupol? I'll believe Alfix here because he's Russian. No, not a minaret, and not a parapet? Parapet? UI. Okay, so it's called an onion dome, or I guess a kupol. So we see that right on this mace. How sick is this mace? And it's like on both ends, right? You see it right here. Okay, so kupol in Russian, but onion dome in English. Okay, so onion dome is a dome whose shape resembles an onion and is usually associated with Russian architectural style. Well, la-dee-da. So you can see the bottom of it, but look at the top too. So this like kind of stylized heavy mace that looks like some sort of really awesome, great weapon that we'll see in just a second again here. Right as we kind of come through this, like, through yeah, I see it right here again and right here again. Like, that is sick. Like, that is awesome. Like, it looks like the maces that you see, like, it just basically looks like a straight up tower with the onion dome on it and then the studs and spikes around it. And you can see it on the top and the bottom of the staff, right? As a counterweight at the bottom. Like, that is rad. Like, I love that. So that, again, these guys could be the Kreml Guard. And the Kreml Guard is supposed to be the palace guard to the Tsar or Tsarina. And since the reason I say the Kreml Guard is because they're all around her. They're not, we don't see them any other point in the battle until this point. And we see them with a bunch of different variations. We see these scimitar looking swords. We see these really cool kite shields. And then we see these awesome mauls. So I do really like that as a possibility for the Kreml Guard, because they're supposed to be heavier armored. They're supposed to have a bunch of different variations. Falchions, thank you very much, Flemish. My brain is like, it's got too much caffeine and hype in it, so I'm like, yeah, the things. What is this? Controls cars. Yeah, so they got two of these, like. So my brain's just not all there. That's why I had to write a bunch of stuff down. You can even kind of see these shields are pretty small. Dude, these guys just gonna get worked. Oh, small little shieldy. It's not a full kite shield. It looks like it's got like, it cuts off at about, like it's not long at all. If you kind of saw that right there. Right there, that's a perfect image of it. I mean, it's not a full kite shield. It doesn't go down to that entire tapered edge. It's not necessarily very large. Oh, Onion Guard, Regiment of Renown, Kreml Guard. It's punted. Get punted, son. Oh, the ripping guitar solo. Dude, look at the steroids. He is on a mixture, right? Definitely has Tren in his system. Anavar is all up on that Chaos Bloodthirster. So let's just jump back over here. Callan Quinn, I'm really excited to see each god's unique campaign mechanics. Any speculation on that? I actually don't have any. I mean, I don't have any specific ones per se. I have a couple in mind, but I'm not necessarily Trenhar, E-Clan, Anavar, give up. Delta knows what's up, what it's about. Let me jump back over to here and let's go to the Order of Chaos. Blades of Corn. Cessarin, what's up? So Demon of Corn, Bloodthirster. I thought it showed the different ones on here. Because again, there's the different kind. God, I can't tell you how jazz-handed I would be if they brought like these dudes in from Age of Sigmar. All of the Chaos Age of Sigmar stuff is really, 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 really sick. Is really sick. Like Skull Reapers are awesome. The Blood Warriors themselves are really cool. Like, look at these dudes. Like, I understand why everyone hates Age of Sigmar. I understand. Trust me, I played this since I was 10 or 11, and I got really, really flustered when Age of Sigmar happened. But I have to admit, I actually really enjoy Age of Sigmar now, and I would love to see some of these models brought in to replace, you know, to make Mark of Khorne Chaos Warriors unique and cool and different, rather than just like, it's a red colored Mark of Chaos or a red colored Chaos Warrior. Like, Valkyrie the Bloody looking all great right here. Yeah, not everything. I just think that there are definitely some things you could pull from. By the way, here's Scarbrand, and this is why I don't think we've seen Scarbrand yet. His armor is different, a lot more ornate. He has a really sweet little like strong beard action, and he's got 2 axes. Yeah, exactly. 100%. Crisp just said Zangors, and I think the Zangors are just such a needed unit for a generic army. Like, these are the Kyrek acolytes. These guys are cool too, though. Like, look at like the heavy, like a Greek-looking influence on them. I love it. And Zangors. Again, we don't know if this is going to happen. They've said no Age of Sigmar stuff, but I think they might be. I think that Chaos Demon Age of Sigmars is fair game, and it should be, because the Chaos Demons never really got that full update into the fresh look. But I think if they put a Stormcast Eternal, I would be so pissed off. Like, I would not be down with that. I mean, look at these guys. These guys are so rad. I think they're a really cool way to approach a line infantry chaos demon army. You need stuff like this. I did not, Pieter, but I'll get over to that, and we'll have a video out tomorrow. Yeah, if I saw Stormcast, I would be that is the Age of Sigmar they won't include, I think. That's what I think they're saying here. But I just look at the Maggotkin, go to the Disciples of Tzeentch. And you get Glotkin, which is an End Times model, but look how sick this thing is. There are good things about the End Times, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. There is stuff that we, as Warhammer Fantasy fans, when it was going on, were really excited about. When the End Times kicked off, everyone was like, yes. Oh, yes, we're starting the next edition. It's going to be amazing. We're going to get updated models that have never been updated before. The first book, Nagash, was a very good book. It unfortunately killed off Eltharion. And some other things, but it was ultimately a really positive step for Warhammer Fantasy. And the next book, Glotkin, right?
Thank you for the donation.
I think it's Nagash, Glotkin, Kane, Thanquol, and then Archaon. I think that's the progression. I can't remember. The second book was like, okay. That's okay. This is fine. And then as soon as Kane came out, everyone was like, this is a bad idea. And it got progressively worse and worse and worse. And then they blew up Warhammer Fantasy. And that's when End Times became a smear. But the first one was an amazing step. And we saw new models. We saw more Morghasts. It's like, look at these things. I want these in the game so bad. Like, if they put in Nagash at a DLC point, these things are so sick. I desperately want them in. And I don't think it's a big jump to put these into the game. And I think that taking stuff from End Times or Age of Sigmar that is not meant to be indicative of the End Times and is more indicative of, hey, we're finally giving love to something we didn't give over the 15 years of negligence, i.e. the Skaven and stuff like that. I think that is a totally fair thing to include in Total War Warhammer 3. But I also understand people's hesitance when you hear the word Age of Sigmar and End Times put together. You're like, whoa, 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 don't blow up this too. This is my last bastion. So I understand that. Somebody nameless dropping $20 saying, keep up the great work. Thank you very much, man. Thank you guys all very, very much today. Meng Ran X saying, Cathay. Gogol saying, I have to respect the gonads on these lads. Seeing that big bugger winding up a swing and still running at him with a 5-pounder as well. Thank you guys very, very much. I'm having so much fun talking about this stuff. We still have plenty more to go into. What's our likes to views? We got 954 you bros checking in here, 972, only 500 likes. Let's push that even higher. Let's get up to like 750 likes, guys. Make sure anytime I know this is so frustrating whenever you watch like any kind of YouTuber who's like, yeah, go ahead and like, subscribe, comment below. It's annoying to hear, but it's more annoying that like our livelihood is tied to the whims of like 3 metrics that are like not really, they don't really do anything to your content, you know? Like, okay, I make a great video, and if you like the great video, you watch it and you leave. That's kind of the transaction and how it should be. But instead, if you don't comment, like, or subscribe, or all 3 of those things, or just one of those things, my video in their eyes is valued less. It's so weird how that algorithm works. So it's annoying to hear, but it's more annoying that it matters. So anytime you watch anyone's video, even if you don't comment or subscribe, just like it. It helps. It helps a ton. So thank you very much, guys, for everything so far. Let's keep going. Let's keep pushing through. Like for the like God. Do I like Warhammer? Oh, you can't see the amount of Warhammer paraphernalia in my room. Yes. Yes, I do. Oh, I hate you, Crisps. So, let's jump over here. I think we've gone through a lot of the FAQ stuff, kind of just coincidentally. I think, though, that a lot of people have been asking, hey, what about the Warriors of Chaos? And I think that this is the perfect time to do an update for them. I think with Total War Warhammer 3, we'll probably just get a Warriors of Chaos update alongside it. It would just make sense. And I think then the following question to that is, how will they do the legendary lords for the guys, right? We have 9 playable legendary lords to talk about here. And they could do like 2 and 2, like 2 mortal legendary lords. Like, okay, Valkia the Bloody for Chaos, and then the Mask for Slanesh, which is probably very unlikely. And then they maybe do Kairos Fateweaver for Tzeentch and Kugoth Plaguefather for Nurgle. They could do that, but I think that what we would probably see is 4 Chaos Demons for their starting legendary lords, and then DLC packs that bring in their mortal counter, the mortal gods lords or champions. That is probably the most likely and probably the most hype too. Tamarcom we're going to get into too, Shagrat. So what do you guys want to talk about first? Should you guys want to go through a potential Kislev army list or a potential Cathay army list? Here, we'll do this the fun way. I haven't used one of these in a long time. We're going to talk about both, so it doesn't really matter, but let's go ahead and do where is this? Poll. What should we talk about first? Kislev army list or Cathay army list? All right, there we go. Poll is up. You're going to vote by typing !vote space 0 for Kislev or 1 for Cathay. So just like I typed in !vote space 0 for Kislev or space 1 for Cathay. Thank you very much, Painting Coach. And guys, please go check out Painting Coach's channel. And I saw what you said about pre-ordering, dude. Thank you very, very much, man. You very, very much. He is a master of painting. Some would call him a coach of painting. I think 3K was a major inspiration for Cathay coming in. I gotta say, I think it was, man. Like, how do you as Games Workshop not see that Cathay that 3K was one of the most successful Total War games to date, and not go, well, maybe they can handle this pretty damn well, and tell them like, hey, let's go ahead and do it. So I think it probably did for sure. You think they'll implement Chaos Demons in the campaign side? Sorry, this is repetitive, but I think you missed my super chat. Whoa, you made a super chat? Let me take a look, James. I probably did, and I apologize if I missed anyone's super chats here. Oh, there it is. James, with your £5 donation there, how do you think they will handle demons on campaign? I don't know. They said that we'll be going into the realm of chaos in this, right? It talked about the realm of chaos here. On the border between worlds, two mighty kingdoms stand sentinel, the stern warriors of Kislev and the vast empire of Grand Cathay. But each is beset by its own trials, and now both have cause to cross the threshold and send their armies into the realm of chaos. So I don't know if you as a chaos demon start in the realm and you have to navigate your way out, or you have to conquer a portion of the realm to get to a gate to get your way out, or if you start in the mortal realm and you have to try to get back to there. It's really... We don't know yet. We have no idea of how the realm of chaos plays into the campaign. The way I envision it when I read this is that it kind of works like the underworld does to the overworld in Heroes of Might and Magic 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that would be kind of cool, right? If you just went to a gate and you popped into like a whole different portion of the map underneath the main map, and you could do stuff in there, and if you go out another gate, you don't know where you're going to pop up in the mortal map. I think that would be really, 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 really cool if it operated just like that. Someone in Games Workshop said Ming Empire is the inspiration. All right, let me jump back to this. Last Total War Warhammer 2 DLC. It's got to be Beastman something, right? It's the only thing we haven't touched on yet. Mine is on like Beastman. I want it to be Beastman Chaos, but I think it's less likely now. I think Beastman Lizardman's probably the bet. Or Beastman Dark Elves. That's another one. Beastman Dwarfs would be so great. And I'm going to get to Dwarfs. Don't worry about it, guys. Chaos Dwarfs and Dwarfs I'm going to talk about in a sec. Let me go back to this poll. Ooh, 90 of you went for Cathay first. So let's take a look at Cathay here. This Cathay army list. Let's go to, I have it on view. Nope. Open Office, in case you don't want to buy Microsoft, but you don't really know how to use this one either. Where is the view? Oh, view, sorry, here. Print layout or web layout? Now we'll go print layout. I like that more. Okay, so here's some legendary lords, and here's some of the source material that I pulled from. Again, thank you to 470 and Matt Ross for your continued help and helping me out and kind of rummaging through source material to get these things going here. Ming is like Han Empire in Renaissance with guns. Yes, I actually do know that, Ming. I can't think straight. Oh, we got another donation. What did it say?
Thank you for the donation.
Zeb Edie saying, enjoying you talking through these. Excitement over this is pretty nice to see. With a 1366 donation. Thank you very much, Zeb. And yeah, I'm stoked. I think all of us are really, really excited. Like Indy probably was like, hey, you want to jump on my stream with me and we'll kind of like talk shop? I'm like, sure. He was so amped up. Like, dude, Indie Pride's video was number 22 or 20 in trending on all of YouTube yesterday. All of YouTube. Like, and he's been doing nothing but Total War. Like, I've branched out into different games here and there for my own mental sanity, as opposed to, not mental sanity. And it was cool to see him get that, like, really awesome, like, top 20, 2022, or top 20, top 22 trending, like, crushed it, absolutely crushed it. And like, we did the stream and he was just on it. He was someone brought up Chaos Dwarfs and he's like, here's all the lords, here's all of this. I'm like, I have no reason to be here. You have done well, my son. Pop. I know, I was clapping my paint mark. I was clicking my fingers and you got excited. Oh, babe. Okay, so let's take a look at what we got going here. Some legendary lores we can jump into is the Immortal Dragon Emperor. And we'll read these two little lore blurbs here real quick. Further away in Cathay, there are stories of mystics dwelling in cities of jade, who, like our own astromancers, scour the heavens for mystical signs, and of a warrior monk who can kill with a single touch. The Emperor of Cathay is said to be a dragon in the form of a man. We can only guess what potent magics such a being can control with its whim. And then we get another one here for Cathay. It says, of the East, little is known to the scholars of the Old World, and of that most is a rumor and speculation. However, there is no doubt that the greatest power in the East is the Grand Empire of Cathay. The celestial dragon emperor, believed by some to be an actual dragon in the form of a man, rules over the largest nation in the world, with untold millions of subjects. The north of Cathay is protected from the attacks of the Hung tribes by the Great Bastion, a massive wall that stretches for hundreds of miles and large enough to require a garrison tens of thousands strong. The armies of Cathay are said to be innumerable and draw exotic warriors from all across the realm, including fierce hill people, strange warrior monks, and well-disciplined armies supported by heavily armored warriors and ornate cannons. So, if the Dragon Emperor, the Immortal Dragon Emperor came and he was actually like a shape-shifting dragon, oh, that would be amazing. And maybe he has a mode very similar to Malice Darkblade, right? Where Malice can pop into his Zarkan mode. Yeah, that's right.
Thank you for the
and I would... Zarkan mode? No. Yes, I'm thinking of Zangor's. Yes, Zarkan mode. I think that would be really sick. I think it'd be really awesome if he could pop back and forth. Like, okay, if he's in caster mode or Emperor mode, he's a caster. Or if he presses the button, he jumps into a dragon mode and he's a single entity destructive monster. Like, I think it'd be really cool to get that kind of dual lord like that. We've never seen anything like it. Speaking of shapeshifting, the Changeling, another really good option for a Tzeentch Lord. Are you excited to see the Great Chaos Gate? I'm hoping to be blown away. I think CA's visual design team has nailed everything so far. Adam Felsheim, that's a really good point. I never even thought about that. I never even thought about them actually showing a Chaos Gate. I've always just imagined it as like a nondescript gate in the middle of like a blasted land. So I'm excited to see how they actually visualize that. That's a good point. I'm going to switch over to I'm getting a headache mode. Now we have the Monkey King. The Monkey King sees his power in Cathay. He installs Warlord Kishik of Clan Eshin as an advisor and begins trade with the Skaven Empire. Now this is huge because, remember, Clan Eshin learns the ways of assassination, of subterfuge from mainly Cathay and a little bit of Nippon sprinkled in there. So it'd be really cool to see Clan Eshin's presence in Cathay, like even outright like this, right? Like maybe you can actually recruit a Clan Eshin assassin. Like I would love to see that type of mixed faction where you finally see Skaven in a faction that's not just Skaven. Oh, you see a Chaos Gate in Malice's quest battle. Good point too. Maybe you have got so many knots. Knots in your fur. You got knots in your fur. Crazy animal. Here, come on. Come on, babe. There. Oh, kitty.
Thank you for the donation.
Or 8-year-old, 80-pound hip dysplasia golden retriever, man. I recommend part 1 of Journey to the West by Overly Sarcastic Production. Find out an actor description about the Monkey King. Thank you very much again, Meng, for the $5 donation. Poor dog, man. Okay. There's a really sweet thing we're going to jump into here. So here's a really cool thing with the Games Workshop ditty. Where is that Warhammer community there? Okay, let's jump over here to talk about, where is it? Third, eagle-eyed viewers among you may have spotted the name Grand Cathay at the end of the trailer, and now the largest empire in the Warhammer world will finally be getting its time in the sun. And they say that for that asterisk, devout readers of Black Library books may remember a certain sorcerer from Cathay in 1991's Beast in Velvet. So that is a huge hint right there. So that jumps over back to Dian Ching. And this is the guy that I think a lot of people are talking about when they talked about the legendary lords here. So these are excerpts from that from Beasts in Velvet and the other book. That this is like a two-part book or two-part series. So let me read. There's one I liked a lot. Maybe this was the one. Because he's a chaos cultist influenced by Tzeentch. So Sagash, I did. So let's jump into maybe this one. Hasselstein was obviously distracted. Dian Ching assumed that the man had actually forgotten their appointment. He was unprepared for the discussion that had made him irritable. He was too much the smooth courtier to give offense to the representative of the Monkey King, but he had other more pressing business, and he would prefer to be seeing to it. That was interesting. The cause of the Lord Xianxin would be assisted by such distractions. I'm sorry for anyone who actually is a native speaker of Chinese or Mandarin or simplified Chinese, and I am butchering it, so I apologize. Besides, it was just as well. Dian Ching wondered how generous the welcome would be if Hasselstein and his emperor knew that he did not, in fact, serve the Monkey King, and that the real ambassador, dispatched 2 years ago from far Cathay, was resting with his throat cut in an unmarked grave somewhere in the Darklands. He assumed that things would be very different indeed. As the emperor found the time to consider the Monkey King's petition, noble sir, some memory of the matter surfaced in Hasselstein's mind, and he dredged the facts together. Behind him, rolled up in tubes, were all the petitions. Dian Ching could see his perfect forgery stuffed in with the others. Your proposed expedition to the Darklands, eh? Dian Ching touched his thumb to his forehead and bowed again. Even so, noble sir. So, it's really cool that we already get this hinting of a character that has been corrupted, a cultist level character for Tzeentch, and Dian Chin means indigo in English. Oh, thank you very much, Meng. $2 donation again from you, my bro. Thank you very much. And I've missed some other donations. I will jump back to those. I promise. But it's kind of cool here that we also get that with Yuri, right? When we talk about the Kislev roster, we saw that Yuri mention on the scroll, and a lot of people think that is the mention of the Chaos Cultist for Kislev 2. So we see both of these as a role in Kislev and in Grand Cathay, and they might play into the campaign here. So with that little hint from the Warhammer community page, that's pretty huge. That is pretty huge. I don't remember the name of the other book. Silver Nails is it's Beasts in Velvet and Silver Nails. What's wrong, Bailey? Oh, she looks so sad today. Yes, we're gonna get to the J Bloodlines as well, Coggles. Don't you worry about it, bro. So we have another. And on that note, we have another guy, Herakth. And this has to do with the two lost bloodlines of the vampire counts. We have the main ones, right? When we look at Strigoi, when we look at the Blood Dragons, we look at Lahamia or Lamians, we look at von Karstein, and said Strigoi, and the Necrarch vampires. There's 5. And there's 2 other ones. There is the one that is basically in the deserts of Araby, and they're like weird insect controlling ones that suck people's blood through the insects. Very, very weird. But there's also another one that kind of has its presence very much so in Grand Cathay. So history records 2 members of the First Children, Matmessas, the very fat and very corrupt Chief Justice, and Harakti, the brilliant and sinister court vizier. After the betrayal of Nagash, however, they were not heard of again. Most believe they were killed by Nagash, but it is also possible they journeyed elsewhere and created their own lines. The Marco Polaris, I wonder if it's a reference to Marco Polo. Writings of Cathay include legends of immortal eunuch sorcerers that drink the souls of men Okay, I got it. Kuka breath. Drink the souls of men, and these are the tales from the jungles of Ind and the Southlands about mad priests who tear out men's hearts to feed to their dark gods. Perhaps these are the children of Mahatmes, someone already said, Matmasi? Matmeses? And Herakti. Perhaps one day they may pay a visit to their cousins. And then there is another little excerpt here that is pretty sweet, and this would be such a sweet jump into getting vampire bloodlines activated here in Grand Cathay. Neferata glowered behind her mask. There likely wouldn't be any more opportunities to buy the exotic powder either. The Eastern Empire was still as secretive and isolationist as it had ever been, but Ashoran spies in the trade cities hinted that there had been great upheavals inside its borders. Prince Jian Hafeng, scion of the Celestial Household, so son of the Dragon Emperor, had defied the edicts of the Emperor for 2 years after his first taste of Neferata's blood, effectively resolving the matter of Lahamia's debt to the Empire. When he was finally recalled by his august father, the prince left for the Silk Lands with 2 more vials of the Queen's blood and the promises of much more in the future. But shortly after Jian's return, all contact with the Empire abruptly ceased, and all foreigners were barred from its trade cities on pain of death. It would be more than a century before contact was restored, whereupon it was learned that the old emperor had met with sudden misfortune and issues of succession had turned violent. Prince Jian disappeared into the chaos of the civil wars that followed, and none knew his fate. The current emperor's view on Nehekhara was one of the benign disinterest. And there's a really cool part we're going to get into I have later here on the Jade Empires that we're going to talk about. But let me take a look really quick at some super chats. I don't want those to go too far into the backlog. Let me just jump on them real quick. But those are some really good options for legendary lords, right? Dian Qing, the gentleman who would be a Tzeentch cultist, Herakti, who would be a Jade Empire, I love that game, a Jade-blooded, the Jade-blooded vampires, Vampire Count, the Monkey King, and then the Immortal Dragon Emperor. Those are like 4 really nice, good candidates. And I think realistically, if we were to get 2, the Immortal Dragon Emperor would be a good one. And I'm stuck between the Monkey King as just a really cool, diverse, different one, or the Prince here as a different, like, okay, this is a counter Cathay force. Like, okay, you've got the Mortal Dragon Emperor as, okay, this is Cathay itself, and then you've got basically the Civil War portion, or the portion that's working against it. So I think that would be really, really, really sick as 2 really nice legendary lord options. Let me go through some of these. Guys, we're at 800 or 900 viewers again, and we're at a nice 673 likes. Let's keep pumping those likes up, my bros. It helps me out so much. I can't tell you enough. Let's go through this viewer activities. Isn't it? That's it? Where is it? What's going on? What is your problem, Google? All right, I'll press this. We'll just do it this way. Okay. Adam Felsheim, got that one. Meng, got that one. Matt Jara said, I think it would be cool if Chaos starts as a horde till they build a gate in a settlement, then warp in like the Wood Elves can. That could be cool, where it starts as a horde and becomes an emplaced faction. I actually do like that. It kind of is a way to balance both. Or if you want to like pick up again, you can do that. Hoard it out, go find a new place, pop down, and build up. That could be cool. Steven donated $10 saying, do you think CA and GW are going to use Total War 3 to retcon end times and have Chaos lose? I don't know. I don't think that they will. I think that they're content with bringing an end to Warhammer Fantasy. And unpopular opinion, bros, I think that now having had years, caffeine tripping you, yeah, no peace, just war. I'm tripping balls. I think that at this point, I'll put this up so it's not like distracting. I think that at this point, it's kind of like a no-brainer to say that. I'm sorry. I think it's a no-brainer that the end times had to happen. We have got what, like 3 or 4 versions of Warhammer Fantasy that is essentially just not useful anymore. And it unfortunately acts as an anchor to the better Warhammer Fantasy of 6th edition onward. 7th edition's even great. You know, it forwards that entire narrative. 8th edition does rip it back, which is kind of unfortunate, but 8th edition is the pinnacle of Warhammer Fantasy rules from a tabletop standpoint. It's not too heavy. It's really nice. You can play a really nice, concise game in a pretty good amount of time. It is model heavy, and that was the biggest issue with 8th edition. The barrier of entry of joining Warhammer Fantasy was too huge by comparison to Warhammer 40k. That was one of the big problems when it came to the end times. And I think that blowing up the Warhammer Fantasy universe, while I did not like that, for like 5 years, I have warmed up to Age of Sigmar because of 2.0 and because of the writers they've thrown into it and because of the co-oping of a lot of other big Warhammer authors that have said, you know what? I didn't like it. It's gotten better. And I get to go into like the vision board room where I get to see everything. Like Aaron Dembski-Bowden was saying, like, I hated it. I hated it. I hated it. And then I was brought into the secret chamber and they told me about what's going to happen and how the narrative's going to progress and how they want me to contribute to that narrative. And he said, and now I'm really on board. And after I read that, I kind of started to see what he was talking about, especially with the Lumineth Realm Lords coming out and them talking about more and more and more stuff. It's just a better fantasy now. It's progressed to the point where now when they bring vampires in, it's going to be really, really, really sick. It'll be pretty much the same. They do need to still flesh out stuff like the Keratin overlords. Like the dwarfs are kind of weak in Age of Sigmar. I think it's not very fun to play dwarfs, and dwarfs are and I don't like dwarfs. You know, guys, I love high elves. Dwarfs are cool in Warhammer Fantasy. They're not so much in AOS. So as much as I hate the end times, it had to happen, and I don't think Games Workshop would be keen to retcon that. Yo, there is too much caffeine in this, and I really go crazy with caffeine. Let me tell you guys. 345 milligrams of caffeine. My heart's like 300 milligrams of caffeine.
Thank you for the donation.
All right, so we got Stevens here. Ming Ran saying Dian Chin means indigo in English. Muramasa saying, don't forget the device called the Cathay and Jet, which protects the wearer from all magic except for high, dark, and gut magic. Ogre magic, yes. That may or may not be in the document we're going to go through. Any chance of Dogs of War in a DLC? Any colonies, or this is from Raz, the Summoner, any colonies, outposts in the east in the lore? With Cathay and Kislev, seems like everything is on the table now. Pig barter is probably the closest thing I could think of as far as like a neutral human settlement that could feature stuff like that. And I think Dogs of War is a really cool possibility. I'm not really sure. I've kind of thought of them as like, maybe they're going to be the pre-order DLC. And that could be cool because they'll probably want the pre-order DLC to be a game 2 and 3 thing. But Indy probably was saying that he saw a comment that said the pre-order DLC is going to be a game 3 exclusive. So I'm not sure if it's a game 2 or 3, if it's a game 2-3 crossover race, like Norska was with 1 and 2, or if it's a game 3 exclusive. And if it's a game 3 exclusive, I don't think Dogs of War makes as much sense. Because why would you not want to sprinkle in stuff from game 2? Because it's right there. That's where the Gods of War, or the Dogs of War primarily are, outside of all the mercenary units. Because it's a game 3 race? Okay. Let's take a look. God, I have so many tabs up right now. Oh! Nope. Free race pack for Total War Warhammer 3. Well, it just has a race pack for Warhammer 3. Gotta cut this with more water, man. Galadiel, I don't think it's stupid, but I just don't think it's unlikely. I think that, and I'm fine with that. Like, I was going to do a video on this, but it seems too incendiary of a topic. But I think that naval battles have, personal opinion, I think naval battles have no place in Total War Warhammer. They're barely mentioned in lore. The only time that they mention naval battles is in End time, when Harkon's fleet destroys the Tomb King's fleet. The Tomb Kings mentioned their grand navies in the beginning of its lore, and then there's a lot of mentioning of the Dark Elves and High Elf navies fighting all the time. But think of it, man. If you have a naval battle, it's really not very fun. Okay, my High Elf naval Phoenix ship or a Dragon ship or Hawk ship is fighting against a Dwarf Dreadnought. You know, like an 1800s dreadnought encased in steel shooting cannons. Like, I liked naval battles in Empire. I liked naval battles in Rome too. But if I played an entire day of Rome or Empire and it was a large naval battle, it's being auto-resolved. I would only play very small form naval battles. And I know some people really dig it, but I just don't think it's big enough of a thing. Yeah, the Tomb King's fleet is destroyed by Luther Harkon in the end times, because he becomes the Mortarch of the Ocean Tide, whatever, Mortarch of the Seas, the admiral of the Undead Legion, basically. Okay, so let's go through. Clever Polar Bear said, what do you think about the old world Warhammer Fantasy reboot? I'm stoked on it, man. I think it's a great way to dip into portions of the lore that are obscure little things here and there, and I think it's a really cool idea. Robinger, with the 50 Norwegian kronu, I think that the Dogs of War will come as a DLC and would be able to recruit in the same way as Gotrek and Felix. That's how I would envision them myself, and that's how I would like it. If I could just press a button and use them like mercenaries, like you have in pretty much every other Total War, right? There's a mercenary button, you click it, you hire them in a pinch, they cost a lot of money, and they have a high upkeep. I think that'd be perfect. Raz the Summoner, any chance? Oh, we did that one. SSMCS. I wonder if they'll use Mutalith Vortex Beast to allow Chaos Armies to give them a fast travel point into the mortal realm. I think the Mutalith Vortex Beast is a really sick option. I would really love to see it. Emperor Borgia, Ryan Borgia dropping a $5 donation saying Poggies based kind UWU. I can't UUU. I don't even know how to say that out loud. And then I was like UUU. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I know that's why you did it. What's a quick too long didn't read on Dogs of War? Dogs of War are basically an amalgamation of mercenary units, but they mainly give you rosters for Tilia, Estalia, and Border Princes. That's, I guess, your TLDR. Ooh. What up, Christian? Oh, Based King. Got it. Good to see you, Borgia. I hope you're doing well, man. Because you're in aren't you? You're in medical, right? What are my thoughts on possible siege rework, your hopes and dreams, and a possible army painter for Warhammer 3? If we had an army painter for Warhammer 3, I would live stream myself shitting my pants. Oh, you're in websites. Okay. That's right. Yeah, you and I have talked about that. You're a web developer. I would love an army panel. Oh, you're trans now. Okay, so Ember is your name. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. I thought you just had that as your screen name. So I apologize. Ember, I shall call thee from now on. Although, I mean, come on, man. We both know Ryan's the best name ever. But possible hopes and sieges on hopes on a siege rework. It needs to be more than one dimension, right? It can't just be one wall. And I think it needs to. I think a good step in the right direction was the Empire keeps, or like the bastions that are placed. I think that is. I think that is a very good step in the right direction. And I think that we need more multi-tiers to sieges. And I don't want it to become like, oh, the more pivotal ones are the spiraling Minas Tirith. I don't think we need that. But I just think there needs to be, okay, I want to be able to place a moat around my thing, or have stakes placed around the base of the wall to make it so that it creates killing fields so that my archers can do more damage. I think, like, honestly, what do you do in a really big siege campaign or a siege fight? You stay on the walls. As soon as they start to get, 50 meters from the wall, you pull everyone off the wall and you shoot back onto the walls as they jump on. I think that that's just not cool. And I think that they can make layers to the actual walls themselves to make it more fun. Let me have an inner keep that I can shoot down onto the walls from. Let me be able to place ballistae and cannons on walls, catapults, trebuchets. Finally, please. I remember Defense in Depth is a really good example of what I'm talking about. Thank you, James Walsh. I think that is probably one of the things I want the most. I remember when I booted up Warhammer 1 and I was like, oh, I'm playing the dwarves. I'm just going to pop these cannons on. How do I put my cannons on the wall? And I remember typing it in, because this is back before I was in any way involved in YouTube, typing it into like Reddit or the forums and it being like, oh yeah, you can't place cannons on the wall. Like, but why? No. I think that is such a huge improvement. I mean, you don't even need to revamp the system to make it more exciting. And honestly, I really enjoy Saga Troy, but you have to look at Troy for what it is worth, as what it could possibly contribute to Total War Warhammer 3. And Troy has a very interesting throwback to Rome 2 style of sieges, where you have different emplacements, different wall configurations. Some maps have just one wall, and that's unique, and that is reflective of the actual, reflective of the actual, what's it called? Reflective of the actual location you're at. But having these layers is pretty fun, or having more defenses capable on the walls is more fun. You know what, Havoc, I never really played Attila. But ladders. Yeah, and also not being able to summon ladders like that is probably pretty huge. Rosé, Moat, and Inner Keep. Yeah, Travers, totally agree with you, man. Yeah, Gladriel said, yeah, and what Milk said yesterday with Bretonnia having bigger alleys for cavalry. Good point. You were never alive to me to begin with, T for Tyrant, or should I call you H for Havoc? I mean, I kind of don't want this to be a thing, but it'd be cool if sieges were multi-tiered. Like, okay, you've got me as a sieging army. I beat the wall. Now I have to storm the Inner Keep on its own separate map. Like, okay, you win this siege part, then you jump into a separate... I think that might be too much. And the only reason this is in my head is because I'm thinking of Bannerlord and how you can now assault keeps. But I don't really want to play a massive siege map and then jump to a very small constrained keep fight. But I think what someone said here in chat was, what if they added in the ability to have capture points on walls and portions of siege map? That would be pretty cool too. And it'd be cool if you could somehow put reinforcement tickets in, but there's no respawning in this game, so maybe that's a little unrealistic. But I think that stuff like that is a really cool idea that a lot of people have had for years. Mick Elwin, we're going to jump right back to that now. So let's go ahead and press this button. Let's see what we got here. We got 800, we got 900 folk again. We have 730 likes. Guys, pump those likes up. Let's try and get to an even 800, maybe even a wild 900. Press that like button, turn it blue. Help me out today, bros. All right, let's keep going through here. Let's go through some units now. Some lords, Celestial Warlord here. This kind of comes in more from the lore itself, as we kind of talk about a little bit of... How long have we been streaming? 2 hours? I feel like I've been talking for 4 hours right now. My voice is already hoarse. Ooh. You know what? And I think we'll do this too. Milk Cookies Total War Cathay. This sucks. Worst YouTuber I've ever met. 20 minutes of just dross. So what is this called? Oh God. Most annoying voice in the world. You hear that, Indy? I thought he had a whole like big army list video for Cathay. I was gonna send that to you guys and let's say out. I guess not. Huh. Well, I thought you had an army list video. Because I know he talked about like, hey, Cathay needs to be in the game because we need more good guys. I was gonna message that to you guys and say, hey, go check his video out on that. But we're gonna be talking more now about this. There's also a really good deviant art. Is this the tab with it? Nope, this is not the tab with it. Oh, here it is. This is Kobol U. He has got a lot of awesome stuff here for a lot of really cool different concept art. And a lot of it's kind of what we're going to talk about a little bit here. But let's go look at this guy, the Brass Titan. So please, here, I'm going to put this link in chat. Go check him out, please. Spam that chat. There you go. This is the Immortal Dragon Empire with a dragon form. Pagoda of Souls. Tempest Blaze. Like, this guy has got such an awesome pedigree here. And there's Ruo Yu, who's also done a lot of really cool stuff too. The guy who made my intro splash screen, that is Ruo Yu. And he's done a ton of those concept arts as well. Got one right here. This is one of his. He is such an amazing illustrator. He works in 3D, so you can find his work as well. So this is, I think, the Celestial Lord. Oh, this is Cathay, custom art for Zhen Ming, Dragon Emperor. Like, dude, like, look at this. Thunder Shadow. Like, this guy, they both just do such great work. Celestial Battle Fortress with just a massive dragon turtle. Here's your Cathayan commander, which I would call on my list the Celestial Warlord. Greatest of the empires of the east is Grand Cathay, a massive sprawling land encompassing tall mountains, verdant plains, and thick forests. It is a mighty empire made of many provinces, each ruled by a powerful warlord over all of which the Divine Emperor rules. It is also a land constantly at war, with the provincial warlords clashing across their borders as they vie for the Emperor's favor. For all its size and strength, however, Cathay remains much of a mystery to the scholars of the Empire, and even those that have traveled there only having a vague idea as to its extent and power. So that's very much like what we get with the Elector Counts, right? Always warring with each other until they hopefully get rallied under one emperor. So a very similar kind of geopolitical climate like you get with the Empire. And I really like that too. So that's your Celestial Warlord. Shunjanan Sorcerer, which is this guy right here. And again, a lot of this stuff is pulled from the RPG books, from various Black Library books, from rule books. Mainly a lot of this comes from rule books too. Cathay, Nippon, and Ind have existed always in the grander Games Workshop scheme and less of the RPG scheme. In rule books is, hey, here's the timeline, here's little blips of them here and there. The Celestial Astromancer. Further away in Cathay, there are stories of mystics dwelling in cities of jade, who, like our own Astromancers, scour the heavens for mystical signs, and of warrior monks who can kill with a single touch. The Emperor of warrior monks who can kill with a single touch? Boom, 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 Shaolin monk. The Emperor of Cathay is said to be a dragon in the form of a man, and we can only guess what potential magic such a being can control at its whim. Like, I understand like how you could say, oh, Cathay, I guess that's cool. But when you really dive into the possibilities for this, oh, it gets really, really wild, right? Jump a little bit further into some of these other pictures here. So just a generic old bronze dragon cannon, you know. Monkey warriors, right? Dude, this guy's got such awesome art for it. Where is there's like more for Ruo Yuo, and I want to showcase it too in a bit. These both these guys have made these posts on the subreddit for Total War Warhammer, so you've probably seen these before. Again, Cathay and Vanguard here, like just really heavy shock cav or on foot. Hill tribesmen and hill people are a big portion of that lore as well. There's very diverse style of army here. Great Bastion Sentinels, just heavy infantry. Black Sky, so you're really badass archers here. Onyx Crowman, like, dude, look at that. Woo! Dragon Lord. Okay, a little on the nose with the nipple placement, man. But dude, just if CA took these concept arts and just like handed them to the development team and said, "Well, here you go." Qilin, I think that's how it's pronounced. Kirin is Japanese, so this would be Chinese, which I guess it's kind of a similar concept. Kirin, isn't that like a fantastical like dragon fox spirit? And the only reason I know what a Kirin is, it's not because of the beer, because I played Ultima Online a ton, and I rode one in Ultima Online. Fatty Lumpkin, what's up, dude? Celestial Monk. Dude, that is so sick. Disciple of Zhen Huang, Zhen Han, and Kalagalanos. Dragon Unicorn. The Dragon Unicorn, thank you. Ultima Online, Kirin. Dude, look at this. Just real, like, dude, look at that. Look at that. Look at that Kirin. Look at that pinnacle of 3D art. Godfrey, man, what's up, dude? I had a character that was a tamer and also was into provocation, so I could make two Kirins fight each other. One would kill the other, and I would heal the one that I wanted to keep and make it kill the other one. It would weaken itself, and then I would go and tame it. You have no idea how much I love Ultima Online. An Iron Pagoda. These dudes on some bad... Stone Guardians. Like, this is just such a sweet... And there's just your bannerman here. Lorenzo, what's up, dude? Terracotta automatons. Dude, that would be rad. Emperor's Shadow. Like an assassin character. We're going to get back onto my list, but I just wanted to go through these with you guys real quick. The Shugenon, that we just talked about these guys, right? Celestial Dragon itself. Fire Lancers has like a fire lance. So it has like a basically when it would hit, it would detonate. Travers CA is based in the UK. Ogre Swordmasters, which would be this would be such a hype unit. Like, could you imagine this? Like, this is what I like about Cathay. When we think of Empire, right, we get all these different style. It's a very kit style Empire faction, right, where you've got an answer for everything. But for the answers for all of these things are human. Cathay would bring a lot of very different and unique stuff to the table. We're going to keep going through this here now. Jade Vampire. Now this is we're into, I guess, like kind of the hero section now. I guess Lords. This is more Lords. I thought I put heroes in here. Oh, heroes is that. It's the next one. Okay, so here's the Jade Vampire. This was the other blurb I wanted to talk about with the vampires, and I really like this little excerpt here. So Wasorin strode close to the cages, and the orcs howled and lunged at the bars, grasping at him wildly. These husks are like anchors, holding our minds in bondage. Nagash was a fool, clutching at the physical when he should have concentrated on the spiritual. The raw stuff of magic flows in us, pumping our blood and allowing us to wield it as a weapon, or to embrace it, to transform, molding our shape as we see fit. Not without good reason do the Cathayans call our kind Young Shi, or corpse ghost. He held up his hand as if to examine in the light the braziers that lined the cavern. We are ghosts possessing our own bodies. In time, I will know the secret that Nagash stumbled upon, like a cave dweller learning of fire. Like, I love that. I love that. So Jade Vampires as a presence would be very, very awesome here. Emperor's Champions. Now, not to be confused with ones from the from Warhammer 40k, a Cathayan officer, a Cathayan sage, a Cathayan assassin, which we kind of looked at here. Everything changed, though, with the return of Clan Eshin. Trained in the arts of assassination in Cathay, their black-clad murderers could infiltrate the most well-defended lairs and slay the mightiest foes without ever being discovered. Clan Eshin swore allegiance to the Council of 13 and immediately set about to destroy Clan Pestilence. For generations, Clan Eshin used fear and assassination to bring the unruly clans back under the Council's control, slowly breaking down Clan Pestilence's hold on the strongholds. So we jump into the little bit on the smoke bomb from the Skaven army book. Skaven smoke bombs are found among the Skaven of Clan Eshin, using craftsmanship techniques learned in Cathay and Nippon. These small fragile grenades are filled with explosive powder that detonate with a flash on impact. So we could probably find a Cathayan assassin, like the ones that we just saw the concept art for, but very similar mechanics to what we saw with the Skaven assassin. And I would love that, especially if it had some of those cool like concept art little quirks imbued into it. So I really, really love the potential for Cathay to be a very wild faction across a lot of different strengths and weaknesses. So that's kind of all of our little heroes that I've got here. Emperor's Champion, Officer, Sage, and Assassin. And if there's anything... Indie Pride said that they should be a mix of Tomb Kings and Empire with a regimented, well-rounded army, heavy cavalry on the flanks, but also construct play. McKellen, I would disagree just because you said Indie Pride said it, and Indie Pride and I are going to have a fat rap battle, but I also 100% agree with you. They said the Cathayan hierarchy will be a surprise to everybody. Lots will change. Ooh, that's in the Warhammer thing, Michael Cooper? Community? Okay, I finished that, and that's not going to be good. That is not going to be good. Ooh. Now for melee infantry, bannermen with swords and shields. We saw that concept art just a second ago. Let's see. In the fabled lands of Araby and Cathay, they too have variations on personal protection. In Araby, heavy armor is impractical given the unforgiving climate. Instead, to shield themselves from the oppressive heat of the sun, they wear voluminous robes and body coverings that also making them harder to hit. In Cathay, however, they wear armor of lacquered wood and metal, as durable and defensible as plate, but lighter and with an alien appearance, at least according to the tales of the few merchants who claim that have traveled there. So, again, we get this different variation of bannermen across different loadouts, swords and shields, dagger, axe, or G, bannermen with their long blades and wickedly curved polearms flashing poured from the tower gates and into the fray. So again, a different variation. Bannermen with pikes here. Bannermen with sword clans, so dual wielding. From the slaves and beasts, Archaon's army spread out across the ice, enjoying the meager comfort of small fires and less oppressive heavens. The largest contingent to have joined Archaon's army of chaos was the celestial Hundun. Under their eastern warlord Fengshen Ku, the Hundun marauder clan belonged to the dreaded Woe tribe, and were made up of the mounted members of the respected sword clans and their retainers that formed hordes of pike-wielding supporters. With their black lacquered pairs of curved long swords and iron masks forged in expressions of horror and dismay, Fengshen Ku and the sword clan of the dreaded Woe were a dark and determined foe. How sick is that, right? Celestial Palace Guard, so more along the lines of like a greatsword type unit, like this guy right here. Very like very much what's it called? What's up, Fez? Very much oh, what am I thinking of? Sword Masters of Hoeth. Let me just check something real quick. I want to make sure I haven't missed any. Oh, I have. So Drakenvault said, do you think they'll borrow anything from Three Kingdoms or Troy as far as UI design or mechanics for Game 3? I think mechanics is safe to say, because what's important about Troy, and I've made this distinction before, is that Troy is the Rome 2 engine, and Warhammer, Total War Warhammer is based off of what do you mean how it relates to that? What are you talking about? Thank you, Richard. What pre-order bonus race do you think is for Total Warhammer 3? Keep up the lore videos. Thank you, man. We're going to get into the pre-order race in just a bit, my dude. But Drakenvault, back on your point. Troy, Warhammer 2, or Warhammer engine, and the Rome engine. Three Kingdoms is the Attila engine. So what's important about Troy is that it pulls the diplomacy mechanics and diplomacy system from 3K into Rome or into Warhammer. So why that is cool is that I think we'll start to get that now in Game 3. A really nice fleshed out diplomacy system with good trade and good everything. Really a way better system. And I'm so into that. Muramasu said diplomacy from 3K into Warhammer 3 would be I totally would be the best thing to happen. Rome 2 is the base of the engine for both Warhammer and Troy, just different iterations is what they told me. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's what I was saying, dude. But I mean, there's also some other stuff, right? If they were to take the dueling mechanic of 3K and put it into the Warhammer 2 or the Rome engine, which they did with Troy, I think that is important. Now, why I think that is important is because dueling is a huge part of the tabletop, and I'd love to have the ability for lords to get locked into duels. Now, it can kind of get a little clunky with Troy, where you're just basically saying, okay, let me rush to the duel, beat the lord, I'm good. As long as the rock, paper, scissors beats him, I'm fine. And I kind of don't like that very much, but I think what Warhammer has going for it is that you've got melee lords, you've got hybrid, and then you've got caster lords. So there is a natural rock, paper, scissors amongst those things. Typically, the hybrid lords tend to be very beastly by comparison. But what I would like is that the ability to deny a duel. And you can, but I'm just saying, like, it's kind of unrealistic how you can just force the duel. So I think that the duels have to be tweaked for Warhammer 3 if they're brought into it, and I think it's a system that needs to be added. I mean, Euro Man makes a really good point. Please, no dueling. Lord on monstrous unit would be knocking the footlord around in an almost endless duel. I agree with you. I just think it can't just be, hey, here's the current system, let's pop it in. It has to be tweaked for Warhammer, because Warhammer has, like you guys said, monstrous units that are going to be whipping stuff about all wildly. So let's jump back more a little bit into here. The Celestial Palace Guard, the Guandao, just like we had with the Eshin Triads, already even says Guandao Infantry. So we've got that as kind of like our little tip there. The Celestial Palace Guard, again, this heavy infantry style of sword and shield, different variations here. So a great sword, a Guandao, so anti-large and AP, or a sword and shield. You get that right there. Apparently, Rico and Robio had not been permitted to enter the Empire of Cathay because, as the Cathayans had politely explained, they were hairy and uncouth barbarians. Mediterraneans are all like that. However, the Emperor Wu, greatest of all the Cathayan emperors, had been intrigued by these strangers. He had been delighted with the return of the banner of his palace guard, and was gratified to receive the submission and tribute of the entire land of Tilia. This caused great mirth in Varezzo, where they guessed that the cunning Rico and Robio had appealed to the vanity of the Oriental potentate, potato, in order to avoid being summarily beheaded. The message went on to say that the Emperor had agreed to hire the entire expedition, having been impressed by a mock battle in which the mercenaries had held off a blank. So, Celestial Dragon Monks, again, we've seen some of that, what's it called, concept art as a type of rare unit. I saw the word rare unit and immediately read it in my brain. In time of dire necessity, a high elf commander may hire the services of mercenaries of dogs of war. Regiments such as the famed Volan's Venators or the enigmatic Celestial Dragon Monks of the Far East, though this is generally seen as a last resort. There's a maximum number of rare units, blah, 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 blah. That's a Rico Suavemente. What's up, Vitse? I didn't forget anyone else, did I? Good, just making sure. And guys, like I keep saying throughout this entire stream, if you have not pre-ordered, please go ahead and use this link. I get a huge 12% commission for anyone who uses that. You will simply be given a Steam key. Nexus has a relationship directly with Creative Assembly. They are handed Steam keys and they give them to you. There's no shady third-party crap going on. So this helps me out a ton. And if you'd like to use it, please by all means. But if you're not comfortable, then don't feel pressured at all. Dude, the concept art is amazing, right? Currently, there's no usability for the EU, but you'll find that in the next day or so. Lorenzo, I think 3K is an amazing game. It's also very hard. I think, though, that you're going to find that it is difficult. It's way harder.
Thank you for the donation.
Celestial Dragon Monks were not a unit with a model in Dogs of War that I remember, Crisps. That's, dude. Tobus Custom. Tobus Can't Fan Forever said already got the pre-order through Indie Pride's Nexus. Dude, not even a problem. If you went through Indie Prides or H for Havocs or Party Elites, not a problem. I'm happy that you went through just someone's, because I do definitely want to make sure that anyone who has a Nexus and you do watch their channel, please support them in any way, shape, or form, because it's really frustrating as a YouTuber to deal with the constant fluctuation of CPM, right? Which is you watch a video and I get money for it depending upon which action you take on a ad. If you see the ad and you skip it, I get less money. If you click the ad, I get more money. If you stay on that ad's page, I get more money. If you purchase whatever that ad is advertising to you, then I get the most money. That's how it works for AdWords. It's the same thing with this. And it's annoying to deal with that fluctuation. And stuff like Patreons, YouTube memberships, these little things like the Nexus, it's really awesome, dependable income for us that we can say, okay, I can take my foot off the pedal. I don't need to put out so much content. I can focus on less frequent content and better quality content. So anytime you see any YouTuber or content creator who has that kind of stuff, consider looking into it if it fits in with what you want to do. Don't feel pressured by it by any stretch of the imagination, but it does definitely help out. So tons and tons of references of Celestial Dragon Monks throughout a lot of the lore. Almost probably one of the most mentioned things for Cathay, aside from a lot of just hey, here's the Bannermen here and there, here and there. So a lot of cool stuff. But we also get the Mercenaries of Xiangyang, and these, like I said, Cathay would have a lot of crazy things in it. And a lot of goblins coming into this. And this is where we get that little excerpt with Rico and Robia, right? Had held off a small part of the Cathayan army, just from that duel itself. So, or a mock battle, sorry. So even more kind of hints to stuff like that. Jade cultists and zealots. Nagash must rise, as you promised the sorcerer race of Nagashazar, the black cults of Araby, and the ghoul cabals of Cathay. Ghoul cabals. When you sought their aid in gathering your collection, as you call it. Arkan pressed a bony digit to the window, and frost spread around the point it touched the glass in a crystalline halo. He looked at Manfred. For you, he is a means to an end. For me, he is the end unto itself. Yet, we move along the same path, vampire. We tread the same trail and follow the same light. Why not do it together? Luke Johnson, that's a really good point. I have never, ever... In fact, the YouTube ads I'm never, interested in. I'm like, what? I don't want that. I don't need that. Or it's something that I already own. Okay, this process didn't work. Me either, Luke. Now for ranged infantry, bannermen with crossbows. We see some mentioning of the crossbows here. This time, luckily, their arrows fell harmlessly upon our lacquer tiger shields. We replied with our crossbows, slaying several of them before they scurried back into the trees. The jungle fell silent. Gotta buy Raid Shadow Legends off of a YouTube ad. The memeiest of all memes. They have mentions of the cannons here. Cannons spat forth clusters of bronze javelins, which showered through on the onrushing beastmen, accompanied by wave after wave of barbed crossbow bolts, which felled hundreds in mere moments. Repeater crossbows are also mentioned. Dragon stave / firestick handgunners. Again, this would be a unit that would have handguns or the firesticks themselves, which are a little bit more short-ranged, but they are like an anti-large style. If there's anything in specific you guys want me to dive into more, I definitely can. I have these as a point of reference in case you do want to know more about them. But I did want to just kind of go through this list so we can jump into the Kislev list too. Hillmen, irregular bow infantry. Again, we'll read the Hillman one. This one's kind of cool. This guy is like just everywhere, right? Of the East, little is known to the scholars of the Old World and of the most. Again, this is where we get that mention of the Hillmen. We've talked about this one before, but where is it? The North Cathay is protected from the attacks of the Hung tribes by the Great Bastion, a massive wall that stretches for hundreds of miles, large enough. The armies of Cathay are said to be innumerable and draw exotic warriors from all across the realm, including fierce hill people, strange warrior monks, and well-disciplined armies. So again, this is a huge reference point across a lot of this document. They finally add standard bearers that they already have done in 3K. I would love to see standard bearers, Poria. I would love to see standard bearers so much. Terracotta army. Well, we'll just have to keep looking through this. Dragon hunter bombers. I would love to see terracotta constructs, and that's kind of what we saw in the in this art, right? Here we go. Terracotta automatons. I would love to see this. It's an actual physical thingy. An actual document I've got. Don't trust the helmet that betrayed Isildur and scared Gimli. Now for cavalry, we have Cathayan horsemen. We have some references of them, especially in Bretonnia Empire, are descended from the wild ponies of the Kislevite steppes and have no blood of the elven steeds in their veins. The war horses of the Empire in Kislev are passable, but lack the power and spirit of the Bretonnian steed, although they are perhaps better suited to a harsher climate, while the Bretonnian breed need the lush meadows of the west. Similarly, the Arab stallions and the Cathayan horses are also descended ultimately from the wild ponies of the Kislevite steppes, and lack any blood from elven stock. So we get little dips and tithers of them. Knights of Cathay, Knights of the Lion, and Knights of the Mirror. Kind of essentially the same, I guess you could say, of knightly orders in Cathay. Mercenary nomad raiders. Some Cathayan chariots, sage with chariot. The general may have a great sage as an advisor who rides along with him in his war chariot. The sage is thoroughly versed in the art of war and gives the general +2+ to his command rating for a maximum of 10 once and only for one dice roll during the game. The player must state that he is using the great sage bonus before he rolls a dice. So again, a chariot referenced here, and we saw that a little bit here. The bronze cannon, which we saw both in that cannon portion when we were talking about the crossbows, and we've seen it again in this little bit. A triple bow crossbow, a massive version of the normal Cathay crossbow, having a range of 60 centimeters. These artillery pieces fire a large bolt that can skewer the target stand and up to 2 stands. Behind it, attacking one, triple bow. Come on. Now Muramasa, the Emperor's skyrockets. Since Ikeclaw first brought back the secrets of rockets from the Far East, Warlock engineers have configured many variants of what came to be called the Doom rocket. The proposal was to construct an enormous version of this device. Grown rich from selling their advanced weaponry, only Clan Scryer had the... I used to call it Scryry, by the way. Only Clan Scryer had the resources to fund such costly experiments. It took nearly unlimited supply of slaves and entire blank. So, right, Luke? I mean... that's what I was saying. Like Cathay, to hear it on paper, if you know nothing about Cathay, is like, I mean, cool, great. Like they're putting 3 kingdoms into this, but it's just so much more than that. There is so much variety and so much beauty to a proposed army list here that we've been talking about. And a lot of this stuff is really, 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 really good stuff. And I really want at least a portion of this somewhere in there. The Monkey Warriors. These guys are pretty sweet for monstrous infantry. We saw this in the concept art from that one author or one artist, right? They also bring tales of jade cities and high temples where mystics probe the movements of the heavenly bodies and the positions of the stars, of the scholars who inscribe every word ever uttered by their divine emperor. Many strange creatures are said to live in the land of Cathay, from serpentine dragons to gigantic living stone dogs, which guard the temples of the multitudinous gods of Cathay. Records of travelers tell the thousand foot soldiers of the emperor, the mystic brotherhoods of monks who can kill you with a touch of their hand, and the strange monkey warriors living high in the mountains of heaven. Right? One-horned ogre, eastern ogre man-eaters. Now we saw that guy with this. These ogre warriors. I think I just, right there. Oh! I don't want to go. I was going to say that one for you guys. But right, like these guys kind of coming into it as well. And this is not just me pulling stuff out of my ass. This is all this has all been referenced in this lore. Mutated war mammoths, gored and trampled whole regiments of one-horned ogres in the skies above. Like, all this stuff is Cathayan longsword. These ogres who have fought in the grand armies of Cathay have been gifted with the legendary Cathayan longswords, master-crafted blades that are of great value in the ogres because they will remain eternally sharp. With the strength of an ogre behind them, these blades can cause one hell of a mess. Cathayan longsword is one-handed sword that is so finely crafted it confers +1 weapon skill and +1 initiative. The bearer when used in combat. It is armor piercing, no batteries included, more payments applied. No one expects the human empires. Some ogres travel to the far east where they can learn that the great horned trophies worn on many of the helmets are highly valued in far-off lands. The resultant in transaction gives a new name to the road to the east, the Ivory Road. It is only Steam, Uros. You will only receive a Steam key. Travers. Terracotta automatons. Hordes of Chaos Warriors battle legions of terracotta automatons, attempting to shore up the Great Wall with their own clay bodies. That's when we jump back over to this part. Mutated war mammoths gored and trampled whole regiments of one-horned ogres. So you can see that blurb kind of blending in, so you give us 2 little bits of speculation. The Kirin Knights. This is old 2nd edition lore right there. Temple Dog or Jade Lion. We looked at a little bit of these guys. The Temple Dog Riders. The stone dogs. The Onyx Crowmen. We saw those guys here. We'll jump back onto this to look at them. Should be just a little bit further back. These are the stone dogs we were talking about. I mean, so this guy is pulling exactly from this as well. Here's the Onyx Crowmen. Oni are Japanese mythology, and same with Kirin are Japanese mythology. I think it's time to look at this guy, though. Take a look at this guy, the Monkey King. Look at the Monkey King. This guy has done such a great bit of art here, man. What's he on? What's that right there? Looking like a little bit of that. Zinch. Kirin are Chinese? I thought they were Japanese. I'm sorry. I apologize to them for that. Palace Guard. Okay, point taken. Guys, I hope you're just as hyped as I am for this. Like, I'm...
Thank you for the donation.
Oh, we got another donation? Oh, Kyle Sinnott saying far out their idea, but how would you feel if they changed the race of an obscure faction? Like, if Nippon is added, they changed to the elves. What do you mean by that? Like if Nippon were elves, is that what you're saying? Like, I hope this isn't too harebrained where you guys are like, what is wrong with this guy? He is like taking 300 milligrams of caffeine, warped himself into a different brain state, and is just spouting crap. That could be pretty cool, but I think that there's already such a huge presence of badass elves in Warhammer that I would rather have different, unique, and cool humans. Because I personally don't find Empire very cool. I think what makes them cool is it's a really nice, cool take on kind of like Holy Roman Empire style, but in and of themselves, I don't really necessarily feel that they're awesome. I think Bretonnians are badass because I love chivalry and milady. No, I love like Arthurian lore and stuff like that, so it's very cool for me. But for the most part, I'm not huge on humans, and Cathay makes humans really cool. And if Nippon was added to the game as a Nippon faction, like as a heavy Japanese influenced faction, it would be really fucking cool. But I do think having portions of their roster have elves in it be very awesome too, because elves have a distant, what's it called out there? Outpost. That guys. Let's move on here. The gold dragon we took a look at. The dragon turtles we've seen a lot of. All dragons are completely immune to normal. No. The dragon turtle is an aquatic reptile which spends very little of its time on shore. The only occasion when these creatures leave the sea is to lay their eggs or help the avatar Aang discover that he can actually shut off someone's ability to bend. Also, along sandy stretches, burying them and then disappearing back into the ocean. When laying, dragon turtles are dangerous and aggressive and will attack any creatures that disturb them or approach too closely. The creature has one bite and one stomp attack. At sea, dragon turtles may attack swimmers or even boats, although their normal diet consists mainly of fish. Brass Titans. Wabam! Regiments of Renown here, so some different kind of options. Lores of Magic, Lore of Heavens, Lore of High and Dark Magic, because they do have that ability, and some things are immune to all types of magic minus High and Dark. Lore of Fire, Lore of Life, and this is just references to like the Shogunin and other variations of their casters using these things. The Lore of Shadows or Stealth. And then mechanics-wise, the Great Bastion. The Dragon Empire unites the entire civilization of Grand Cathay in a great task that is to change the destiny of his nation forever. The Great Bastion, also known as the Dragon's Spine, is completed in under a century. An impenetrable fortress wall, a quarter of a mile high, that spans league upon league across the border of Cathay. In this way, Cathay protects itself from chaos invasions. So again, just more stuff. So this is something that Weapon Master 470 and I have been speculating for a long time. As soon as Total War Troy came out, him and I were like, let's talk about this. So, you get the River of Souls, the Stygian voices from Total War Troy. And I honestly think Total War Troy has a lot more diving for me to do to talk about potential Warhammer 3 mechanics, because they seem like to me personally, why Troy is exciting is it seems like a massive test bed for 3. Let's bring in 3K mechanics into the Warhammer engine and let's just mess with them and let's try some mechanics that we want to do for 3. So a wonder of Grand Cathay is Wei Jin, the seat of the dragon throne and capital of the empire. Reputed to be the greatest city in the world, it is home to such wonders as the Paradise Gardens and the Temple of the Two Moons, and the mystical River of Souls, said to allow passage to the underworld. And what do? In the Aeneas campaign, you use the Stygian voices to commune with the fallen heroes of antiquity. And I think that is something in some way, shape, or form that Creative Assembly is kind of showing us is like, well, let's test this River of Souls in Troy. So that's kind of a really nifty, cool mechanic. You guys, we can take a look at in another video where I plan to just kind of dive into Troy and dive into Troy and Warhammer 3 and kind of talk about some possible mechanics. But we've done it. We've talked about Cathay. Discard all that. I'm going to bring this back up. I have to pee real quick, so give me 2 minutes. I'll be right back, and we'll jump back. Now we'll jump into the Kislev roster that we've already made a video for. So 1 sec. And like I've said before, guys, if you have not done so, please, 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 please go to the Nexus site here. Go ahead and pre-purchase through there if you so wish. And what are we at? We're under 900 here, or 804 concurrent viewers with 850 or so likes. If you have not liked, please go ahead and like the stream. It helps me out a ton. Be right back. Gotta pee. Hold on 1 sec. All right. All right. We're back. Let's do it. Yes, Kislev now. I'm just trying to remember where that tab is. Here? Nope. Well, we went through all this already. Kislev tab. Here it is. So Kislev tab that I've got. This is, we've done a video on this already. So youtube.com, Kislev lore. Here is the full video on it. It's about an hour long. So if you so wish to, you may watch that video. That damn right, Crisps. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to go through this roster. Before we go through this, actually, let's talk about the DLC race, or the pre-order bonus race, because a lot of people have been asking about that. And I've said, hey, let's wait a little bit. And I think that there's two big options here: are Chaos Dwarfs and Ogre Kingdoms. And Ogre Kingdoms, I think, is really great. I mean, I love Ogre Kingdoms, and I would love to see them there. Video unavailable. Better not be unavailable. Here. There's the video. I would love for it to be Ogre Kingdoms, but I think Chaos Dwarfs makes the most sense because I'm more excited for the Chaos Dwarfs. And if we look at the Mortal Empires map, we already have the Darklands portion of where they would be on the Mortal Empires map. So I think you just release that shroud and there you go. You have the Chaos Dwarfs. But with the Chaos Dwarfs, what I think is important is the Chaos Dwarfs would bring so much to the table as far as a lot of unit variety. They've got the Cathay, they've got their Bull Centaurs, all their legendary lords are very diverse and different. There is so much going with the Chaos Dwarfs. And if they did a Chaos Dwarf campaign pack, the race pack, instead of the pre-order bonus, I would hope that Chaos Dwarfs would also include a dwarf rework, because the dwarfs are going to need more, especially when you compare them to Chaos Dwarfs. Chaos Dwarfs will have all of the same tools that dwarfs have, plus they have expendable hobgoblins that they can use as slave units. They have Cathay monstrous demon units. They have the Lamias, like the awesome they're not Byzantine, not Abbasids, Assyrian style aesthetic of these things. I can't think of the name of them. You guys, I know, will say it before I can look it up. Lamassu, thank you, Lamassus. Here, I'll push this over here. So, I mean, Chaos Dwarfs, you just get so much variety with these things. You get casters, you get all these crazy engines of war. Like, there is no way you can have the dwarfs as is. Look at that. Look at that sweet little bull warrior, right? You can't have the Chaos Dwarfs come to the game and keep the look at this video by Indie Pride. Pfft, probably not even good. It's probably pretty good. You can't have the Chaos Dwarfs come in and just have the dwarfs as is. You need to start to add Runeforge golems. You need to add runic guardians. You have to put more variety into the dwarfs, because honestly, the Chaos Dwarfs are just going to stomp them when it comes to aesthetic, when it comes to overall use across the entire spectrum of what they can do damage with. Like, the dwarfs will just become obsolete in so many ways, shapes, and forms. So I think that the Chaos Dwarfs are going to have to bring the dwarfs up to speed with them. Dwarf have airships, sure, but I think they need the full-on Zeppelins, Glam. The steam train, it's also true. I just think that these guys are really going to try to up that ante. Really, Sand Pirate? There you go, man. Here it is. Indie Pride, an hour long. Chaos Dwarf lore, army list. Go check them out. But there's so much, and that's why I think Chaos Dwarfs excite me as a pre-order bonus, because I would love to say, well, Stod, it does not say it's for Warhammer 3. This is exactly what it says. Free race for Total War Warhammer 3. It doesn't say that it is exclusively for Warhammer 3. It's the same thing that Norska said for the most part. So we don't really know. if it's going to be Warhammer 3 exclusive, if it's a Warhammer 2 and 3 race, how it's going to operate. So I just think that we're going to need, yeah, we'll definitely. So guys, if you've been wondering why I have not covered much Warhammer Fantasy lore, it's because I'm like, well, they're probably going to announce Warhammer 3 any day now. And I've been saying this for a year. And I've just said, okay, well, I can do the same amount of effort for the same video prior to the announce, or just wait for whenever that announce is. And then I'll be so hyped up that video will have so much more character to it. So I decided to wait. And now we can go crazy with it. So that is my take on things. I would like for it to be the Chaos Dwarfs for the pre-order DLC, because I think that means that we would hopefully get a rework to Dwarfs. Ogre Kingdoms, though, I could easily see as the pre-order DLC, because then that means we might see them as a mercenary unit. Or am I pre-ordering? No, I don't think I will, because Creative Assembly will hand me a key and say, have at it. So I won't pre-order. But I have sucked a lot of digital dick to get that far, if you know what I mean, King Ivan. It's coming this weekend, Ian. All this announced stuff, like, it is definitely kind of overridden that priority. I'm good, Hugh. How are you doing, man? Yes, I will get that too, Julio. So let's jump here real quick into this Kislev lore. Yes, if you don't need to buy the pre-order DLC, you can get the pre-order race a week after launch if you want to wait for the reviews and people's opinion. Aeromad, I have not, but I have made a video on such a thing. Whoa, that's a really terrible looking video right there. Here you go. Giannis, what is specifically are you referring to? Dogs of War could be a possible pre-order race, especially because if you look at that as a form of like, hey, this is a game 2 and game 3 race, Dogs of War makes a lot of sense. So that is another option here. But I think Dogs of War might be just kind of like a little too easy. They maybe not do it. I don't know. I'm not really positive. Yeah, Giannis, what do you mean by that when you say, how do you know where to find the information about what comes, etc.? I don't know what's coming. This is all speculation. Oh. MVB, that's been my hope for a long time. All right, Hugh, have a good one, man. It probably will, Joss. So the reason Blood and Gore is separate is because of the way the rating system works in the UK. It's different for the US, right? Like a T for teen and an M for mature, I can market them however I want. In the UK, you have limited marketing targets that you can do with a mature style game. So they separate the two, and it allows them to market to more audiences. It's like heavily regulated. Different than it is in the US, where you can show a baby with a gun and it's a G-rated film. Janice, it's all from just lore stuff we're kind of stipulating upon. Or speculating upon. So for Legendary Lords, we have Katarina, or Katarine. Let me take out that A. Katarine Boka, which is the daughter of Boris Ursus. She would be an ice mage. And we put all this in the video. And this is all gleaned from the Allied contingent and the old Warhammer Army books for Kislev from like 2nd and 3rd and 4th editions. An armored sled, and maybe she rides a frost fiend. Boris Ursus, a light horse, a horse, and then his named bear. Ulrika Magdova Stragov, Now, this one's really cool because she is a vampire. She's a Lamian vampire who gets converted to Lamian vampire. And she decides, I don't want to be a vampire. I still love Kislev. Kislev is my home. And she kind of like rides through the hinterlands of Kislev, helping Kislev, but vanishing into the night because she's also a vampire. And they know she'll be killed if she's found. Like, oh, you're not one of us. Kill her. So it'd be cool for Ulrika to make an appearance as a legendary lord, as a like vampire Kislev hybrid, giving us undead horse with barding, a black coach, or perhaps even a zombie dragon. That'd be a really awesome option there. Or a Griffin Legion lord, so a cavalry style lord. And we've seen one that I've made a speculation for in the hybrid, or I'm sorry, in my Darklands video. Yeah, she's their Green Knight. It's a good point, Outpost. Oh. My back felt great. So a horse, light horse, a bear, and maybe an ice dragon, that Frost Fiend. Ulrika versus Neferata DLC would be really sick, Stod. That'd be really sick. Big back stretch. I have this like really cool standing mat now that has like hills and stuff, so I can stretch out like my calves that get tight when I'm like standing all day. Stop it. She'll show the Frost Fiend. None of this is what I was looking for. Yeah. That comes from the RPG. The second, a lot of Kislev lore comes from the RPG with the Realm of the Ice Queen, because it's about what's her name, Cathay. In the series, the Frost Fiend is thought to be a mythical, appearing as often. It's like, it's not an abominable snowman. It's not a full-fledged dragon. It's kind of like a weird thing right here. So due to their white fur, these bat-winged monstrosities are invisible amongst the blizzards in which they fly. Thankfully, they tend to shriek with bloodlust when their heat-sensitive eyes detect their meat. Almost like a terrorgeist, but a little bit more draconic, maybe. The warning has saved many from eviscerated by their razor-sharp claws. They remain to the root of the spot for to face the Frost Fiend is to face the terrifying fury of the blizzard itself. So yeah, like a Yeti wyvern or wyvern is a good way to kind of put it. So they're not necessarily a terrorgeist, but they're kind of similar and just not undead, obviously. For generic lords, though, we got a Boyar, which we probably saw in that in the trailer. A March Warden, just your typical kind of range guy who typically is patrolling the northern portions of Kislev, in between the actual wastes and where the Kurgans have incurred into the north of Kislev. The Ice Witch, a nice caster lord character that would use ice magic, that lore of ice magic that we've gone through here in that video. And you get Shard Storm, Freezing Blast, Form of the Frost Fiend, Glacial Barrier, and Midwinter's Kiss. So a lot of really cool variations of different stuff that we've kind of already seen, but it'd be cool to see like Glacial Barrier pop up as an actual blocking, physical blocking thing to kind of stop a charge, or make it so that you have a way to block off portions of the battlefield, or the ability to summon in a Frost Fiend, just like we get with Transformation of Cadon. Like, these kind of things are pretty cool, and I think a really cool step in an interesting way for a potential lore of ice magic. Now, for heroes, we have a Druzhina, the Empire Captain we talked about, that Ice Mage, just basically an Ice Witch, the Chekist, or the Assassin, and then a Priest of Ursins, a Priest of Sigmar with Ursin abilities. So, again, Ursin being the patron god of the Kislev pantheon here, focused mainly on, well, bears. There's a big, huge temple of Ursin in the past that goes between Kislev and the Darklands, which would be a really, really cool place to kind of have as a focal point for them. Titus Fondoom, I could very much Fondoom. I very much understand that. It's like when you read the Cathay lore and it says Oriental. So yeah, that's part of like the very old 1980s tropey lore. And then for cavalry, we have got the Sons of Ursa. So again, your bear cav, Brotherhood of the Bear, fast cav, bow sword or bow sword, great sword variants. Griffin Legion, heavy armored shock cav, anti-large AP, glorious charge, a massive charge bonus and leadership penalties for enemy as a potential activatable ability. Winged Lancers, medium armored cav, anti-large, multiple kits. So I have a sword and shield, a javelin variant, a lance variant, again with glorious charge. The Ungol Horse Archers, fast cav skirmishers with bows. Now for infantry, we have Oblasts, the militia pikemen, partisans, standard line infantry, hand weapon shield variants, a bunch of different variants I would imagine, with spears or with halberds, a bunch of different, just like we get with the Empire State Troops. The Kreml Guard, your elite halberd heavy infantry with AP anti-large. Axemen, great axe wielding AP unit. Urson cultists, or like kind of like Kislevite flagellants is what I would kind of imagine them to be like. Doryoska Guard, so dual wielding berserker frenzy, unbreakable, this kind of lightly armored, very glass cannony style unit. That's what I think was a Doryoska. Potential starting positions. Crazy Waffle, I've done it before in my Darklands video, and my brain is kind of a little zapped right now, so I don't know a ton for Cathay to talk about. Kind of like berserkers, yeah. Yeah, Aromad. For range, you have the Kossars, so a great axe bow hybrid unit, kind of like your Lothern Sea Guard. The Streltsy, which have our handgunner halberd hybrid units. Kislev Bowmen, very easy. And then Kislev Rangers, Vanguard deploy, skirmisher unit a la the Shades or Shadow Warriors that we see in the Elf factions. Now for monstrous infantry, we have Beast Tamers, accompanied with bears or wolves, which would be awesome. Feral Great Bears, or at least like isolated Great Bears, which would be great. A Wolf Pack, and then Hawks of Mishka, skirmisher flying style unit. And then for artillery, we have an Uragan cannon, so basically an organ gun. A Limbered Carronade, so a smaller, more mobile gun platform carried by horses. I almost said carried by dwarfs, like drawn by horses. A mortar, just your standard mortar, and then War Wagon. Now, when I made this roster and when I made this list in the video, this was before, or maybe it was slightly after, the Hunter and the Beast DLC. So it was not in like, it didn't exist yet. So war wagons were part of like a Kislev style thing back in the day. So that's like my quick and dirty list for them. That, you see, Titus Von Doom, do I understand correctly, hybrid units is a Kislev's trick. And that's what I think would be cool, is if Kislev, rather than just being like a Russian-themed Empire army, is if it had a lot of hybrid units, where it relied on that hybrid unit's usability to make a very diverse army that also wasn't particularly really good at one thing, but it could answer a lot of different things at once, is I think very interesting, and also makes for a higher skill cap. Like, okay, I'm going to use two of the same unit, but I'm going to use one as a one purpose and the other as another purpose, even though they're a dual purpose unit. I think that would be a really cool kind of way to do it. Aquablade, we just went through a massive roster here for Cathay, my dude. Jump back just a little bit and you can see all that. Oh, thank you much for subscribing. Have we seen much subscribers all day today? I don't think we have. Oh, we have. Holy crap, we have. Whew. Guys, we're hitting our 3-hour mark. We're going to talk for a little bit more. What are some things that you guys want to talk about, though? I feel like I've rambled on some set stuff that I wanted to go over, but what are some things that you would like me to discuss that I maybe haven't discussed? Feed me, my bros. Someone said, what could we possibly... I have like some potential questions and answers based off of what Indie Pride's stream was, for as far as what people asked. And One was, what could we possibly see for the future race campaign packs? Like what I could propose. And Ogre Kingdoms, Chaos Dwarfs, and Dogs of War are the 3 on my top if they're not pre-order lists. But there's also Hobgoblin Khanate, Kurgan or Hung DLC, Nippon, In, Koresh, Albion, Araby. Those are some other potential races that you could see. Hopefully, maybe. We'll see. You think Valkyria may be added later as a lore pack? Aromad, I hope, dude. That's my favorite. That's my favorite non-demon character for Chaos. Cathay campaign gimmick. I'm not really sure. I would have to flesh it out more, Laughing Gas, when I do the video on it. Ali Reza, I did? What do you mean? What did I skip, my dude? If you ask me something and it's easier if you mention my name because it pulls my eye a little bit quicker. Sometimes it's hard for me to see it. Breadfish, I want 0 Age of Sigmar units to be added to Total War that are stuff like Caradan Overlords or the anything Stormcast, anything like that. Anything that's exclusively Age of Sigmar, I think needs to not be added. But I think all of the Chaos Demons Age of Sigmar units are fair game because they're meant to be used across probably Old World and Age of Sigmar and 40k, and they're just updated versions of their old counterparts. So I think it's totally fair game. Could Nagash be the pre-order DLC you think, or something else we don't expect? Well, he's a lord, you know, right? He would add like variations to different undead units, but I don't see him being a unique enough individual to add as a pre-order DLC race. Matt Jara with another donation. By the way, Matt, thank you very much, man. You've made so many $5 donations this whole time. What are some diplomatic options that Chaos factions would get, since probably most of that what UK Troy won't really apply? You know, I bet you it would have to do with just the other Chaos factions. I'd imagine that that's how it works. Or if diplomacy had a way to subvert other factions for the Chaos Demon. So like, okay, you can spend this Chaos Demon currency and you go to the diplomacy screen and you can spend 50 Chaos Demon points to send cultists to this city to cause unrest, rather than it all being bound by hero actions, because it's a little bit like you're pulling the strings from the background here, you're influencing them in their sleep, stuff like that, you know, like the Whispers of the Dark Chaos Gods. That would be really cool if the diplomacy screen was more of like a how do I screw with everyone screen for Chaos Demons, and less of a just outright I'm going to make a trade agreement. Warhammer 2 had 2 race packs, not including pre-order. Over or under 2 on race packs for 3? I think so, Noah. I think that's safe, right? I think 2 race packs for 3 fits the 2 race packs we got for 2 and for 1, remember? Well, actually, I guess we had 3 for 1. Because we had Bretonnia, Beastmen, and Wood Elves. And I guess you could argue 4, because Warriors of Chaos was an early adopter bonus. Do you not think Ogres or Chaos Dwarves are too big for the pre-order bonus? Would they not be the main candidates for Warhammer 3 race packs? No, I think they'd fall in line, Shane. Especially because they have application to Warhammer 2 if possible, if that's the way I wanted to go with it. And I was making this distinction on Indie Prides. I think that Bretonnia was FLC, wasn't it? Oh, whoopsies. So yeah, I guess I'm on point with that. Making Cathay a launch race and Chaos Dwarfs and Ogres not, I think is a good call, because what they have to look at is development budget. Capital expenditure basically for a development budget is easier to get roped in for a large sum for brand new wireframes for things that don't exist. Look at what we saw when we looked at roster, guys. Like, look at this stuff. These wireframes, they don't exist. There's nothing that kind of shares these for the most part. Like, that's a brand new wireframe. This is you could probably argue that's similar to some things. This is a brand new wireframe. You could say it's very similar to the demogryphs, but probably not in its movement. This is a new wireframe. There's a lot of stuff that probably needs to have brand new custom creations done for it. And they've told me at CA when we went to go visit for one of the Everchosens that when it comes to determining what they're going to do for a DLC, they have to look at what it's going to cost to basically take a wireframe and make a new unit. Like the Rotting Leviathan is basically like the Ragnarok Spider, but just custom assets poured all over it, which is cool. It's an existing wireframe. Or you look at something like the Tomb Scorpion. That's a brand new wireframe. So that costs them more money to make and create. And what they were telling me was, we have to weigh, do we make 3 units that use the existing wireframes, or do we make 1 unit that's a brand new one and just there's less in the DLC? Dread Saurian is a brand new wireframe, is a good example. So I think it makes sense to put Cathay as its own faction with a lot of new wireframes, and then the Hero Titan and the War Sphinx, also brand new wireframes. And then Chaos Dwarfs, that's a lot of existing wireframes, right? I mean, Centaurs could be your base for your Bull Centaur. The Taurus can probably exist in a lot of different variations too. Like, there's a lot of existing wireframes already. So Chaos Dwarfs would make a great pre-order bonus, or it would make a great campaign pack. The Ogres, I don't know how that wireframe would really work. I don't know if it'd be similar to a Crypt Horror. I have no idea really. Or similar to Minotaurs. So those kind of already really exist. And really, Ogres need like 1 wireframe plus the Mournfangs and the stone tusks and that. Like, there's very minimal. So I think that this is a good way to take advantage of that development budget, put it towards a really high quality, crazy race with really diverse stuff. Like, where's those Onyx dudes, man? Dude, like, new wireframe for sure, bro. This is turtle. It's turtles. So I think it makes sense to do it this way. Thoughts on Beastman rework? Do you think it will come in Warhammer 3 or before? I think it'll come before. I mean, they've said in this FAQ. Okay, wrong tab. Nope. As you might expect, our focus will shift towards supporting the Warhammer 3 following its launch. However, there will then be a further DLC for Warhammer 2, which we'll be releasing later this year. So that kind of doesn't really make a lot of sense as to when this is going to occur, but we're still getting that Warhammer 2 DLC. That's happening, and I think Beastmen are a part of it. I think they've got to be. Yeah, Koresh, and they all have really great options, right? Like Koresh with like the tiger and the anthropomorphic tigers. The current Lord Pack system. Jordan, I'm not sure. I honestly think that, like, I bet you with Game 3, they're going to be like, all right, let's do campaign packs, and let's just go crazy with Lord Packs. Now that we've created everything, we have the whole map that we can take advantage of, let's just pepper this. Like, I wouldn't mind if you paid a Lord, like, $5 for a Lord pack that didn't add any new units, but it added, like, 6 Lords to the game with unique mechanics. I'd be so down with that. Like, oh, okay, here's the Elf Lord pack, and it adds Tularis, and it adds Aislinn, and it adds Korhill, and it adds Koron Darkhand. Like, I would like that. I'd be down with it. Wu-Tang Financial, you have to diversify your portfolio. That was such a good skit. Yeah, dude, 100% Corrupted Moon. Wouldn't the Ogre frames be similar to the animated Hulks from the Vampire Coast? 100%. And almost the whole roster would use that wireframe. Now, again, take what I'm saying with the wireframes as a kind of a grain of salt. It was said to me in passing as just like a, hey, just so you understand how this kind of works. I'm now just like spinning the further conjecture of maybe it's like this. So yeah, guys, if like I've said so many times before this entire stream, please use this link if you are going to purchase Warhammer 3. It helps me out a ton. If you've already done it through Indies or through Atra Havoc or Party Elite, not a big deal. It helps out all of us very much. In the last 24 hours, quite a lot have been purchased. So thank you guys very much for purchasing through this. It helps all of us a ton. And it means a lot. So thank you guys very, very much. Oh man, Doorkicker's discount, we can get 100% for all games. Damn. So starting tomorrow. So the way that the relationship with Nexus works is they negotiate a margin, and then they give us half of that margin. So we get 12.5% for Total War Warhammer games because it looks like they've negotiated a 25% margin with Creative Assembly. Every so often, Nexus will say, hey, you know, it's the end of the year. Merry Christmas. You guys get 100% of that margin rather than them taking a cut. So it looks like on the 5th to the 7th, we will get 100% profit on any game you guys purchase. So I will get 25% margin. Like, that's why I really like Nexus. It's a direct developer to client interaction where it's like, hey, we get the key and we hand it to you. The developer creates it for us. We give it to you. And they give us great margins. It's like, it's an actual really good relationship versus what you get with like, oh, other ones where it's like, here's like 3%. Have at it, guy. Like, no. No, don't, Lundgren, don't even worry about it, man. No, you're fine. You're fine. Guys, buy through whatever means works for you. If Steam works, if Epic works, if you've already purchased through the other ones, just do that. I'm just saying this helps me. If you want to do it, do it. If not, don't even worry about it. No, Rick Axe, it does not. It definitely doesn't seem like that because the Warhammer 2 DLC is a Lord pack. This says it exclusively says it's a race pack. Guys, yeah, Glam. I figured majority of people would, and that's not a big deal at all. Yeah, absolutely, man. Like, I have no problem being 100% transparent with this kind of stuff. What units do you think we won't see for Chaos Dwarves and Ogres? Honestly, I don't think there's anything we wouldn't really not see. Because the roster for both factions is very light. Here. Especially comparing it to, like, Skaven, dude. Skaven roster is like 550 different models. Let's bring up the Ogre Kingdoms 8th edition. Do I have the Tamarcon in here? There it is, Chaos Dwarfs. So here's the Tamarcon, which is a 7th edition supplement by Forge World. And this is the last time we really get the presence of a Chaos army, a Chaos Dwarf army list. So this is 127 probably. The Two Dragon. And you get so many cool monsters in this thing. Like, look at this dude. Look at this guy. It's Chaos Sorcerer, Twisted Seer of the Wastes. Oh, what was that? $15 from Lundgren. Thank you for hosting. Absolutely, man. And thank you for watching, Lundgren. Really appreciate that, man. Thank you guys all very, very much. A lot of you guys have thrown like so many donations at me today, and I couldn't be more grateful. So thank you very much, guys. It's been an awesome week. We've had a lot to go over. My voice is hoarse right now. Yeah, Crisps, the pre-order DLC is available 1 week after launch. Lady Elspeth. Look at this sweet thing. The Marienburg class land battleship. Oh! That's what I mean. Tamarcon's got so many cool units in it. But again, here's the Chaos Dwarf action. So Chaos Dwarfs get Crewman and Overseer. Get all the different kind of Infernal Guard. Get their casters, the Demon Smiths and the Sorcerers, which are Demon Smiths are basically Rune Smiths. So this is what I mean. The Chaos Dwarfs are going to have so many different things. Like, oh, they get Rune Smiths and casters. And the casters, I think it's Death, Fire, and something else. Let me see here. Demon Smith, Sorcerer's Curse. Jazawath of the Ashen on his badass Bull Centaur. Not Bull Centaur, Bull Taurus. Or just Taurus. This guy, Chaos Dwarf Bull Centaurs. Got the 3 different versions, Render, Baazal, and Tarok. The War Machines. The War Engine. Deathfire and Metal. Thank you very much, Rominger, which is the name of my new metal CD coming out soon. The Magma Cannon, the Deathstreaker Rocket Launcher, the Dreadquake Mortar, the Hobgoblins, the Wolfrider, Hobgoblin Wolfriders, the Cathay, like I've talked about, the Fireborn Manburner and Destroyers, the Great Taurus, which is what that guy was riding, the Legion of Asgoroth. Oh, that's an actual, sorry, that's an actual army. But see, like there's not a lot of units in this army roster, period. As you can see, it's pretty bare bones. So I think that the Chaos Dwarfs, if they were released as a pre-order DLC or as a race pack, they'd get everything. There's not enough in here to break this up. Lore of Hashut, which is really sick. We have a video on that, don't worry. Only air unit is a Great Taurus. I believe so, Noah. The Cathay, I think one of the Kadays can kind of like hover. Now for Ogre Kingdoms, again, it's a pretty small roster, and it's all very much the same. We're going to jump all the way to the bottom if it's there. Sick. Yeah, if you go to the back of the book, you can see everything. So, I mean, they've got their 4 heroes, Bruiser, Butcher, Firebelly, and Hunter. They've got their lords, Greasus, Scrag, Slaughtermaster, and Tyrant. Slaughtermaster and Tyrant are the 2 parent ones. Then your core is a Nobbler, an Iron Gut, and an Ogre. That's it. It's done. And then it moves to special with a Gorger, a Leadbelcher, and Maneater. And then it goes to Mournfang Cav, Sabertusks, and Yetis. So it's a very slim list. You have an Admiral Beard? Thank you, Incredible Sponge. Got to do my Will Riker all the time. I think so, Crisps. I think they'll pull from some of the older units, especially 6th edition. There are some special guys that are not in the 8th edition Ogre Kingdoms.
Thank you for the donation.
Martin Christian Dilla, what's up, dude? Hi, Spartacus. I've been away a while, but good to see you doing well. Up 10,000 since I followed last. Started my own company, partly inspired by you. Immigration law, so different, but still. Well, thank you very much, man. It's good to see you again. It's good to see all of you. I haven't seen a lot of faces here since the last time I covered Total War. So it's good to see you guys still about. Dilla, it's also good to see you as well. And thank you very much for the 150 Danish kroner, right? Danish kroner donation. What units do you think will be left out of the core races for future Lord packs? I think core race units that will be left out will be probably stuff from the Chaos Demons, and they'll sprinkle in more of the Mortal or Chaos Demon units. Oh. Do you think there will be some stuff added from RPG books Forge World made up for Ogre Kingdoms? Adam, I think so. Maybe not just exclusively for Ogre Kingdoms, but I think there's a high likelihood they'll dip into RPG and Forge World for stuff. Especially for Chaos Dwarfs, because that all exists in the Forge World continuum. Dwarfs with a Glasgow accent. I actually don't know what that is. For Kislev and Cathay, including the other human groups, I think makes some amount of sense. Road in terms of faction trailers, rosters such as the Warhammer 2 road we had. You know, Ian, that's a good question. So, what do you think about the road in terms of faction trailers and rosters such as the Warhammer 2 road we've had from last time in 2017? So, quick summary of what Forge World is. It is an offshoot of Games Workshop, but still a part of Games Workshop that makes different models and slightly different lore and books for some of the existing lines using resin and higher quality molds. It's basically like a specialist version of Games Workshop. Like, hey, we're going to make armies, and they're going to make specific, really cool, obscure units and armies from within that lore. So, I think the launch for Warhammer 3 is going to be either in May or September time, because that seems to be the 2 pivotal times that they always do releases. We had 3K in May, we had Troy in September, we had Warhammer 2 in September. I think Warhammer 1. Let's see when Warhammer 1 came out. Total War Warhammer 1 release. May 24th, 2016. So, Thrones of Britannia came out in May too. So, I think it makes a lot of sense that May and September are our 2 candidates here. And Ember Borgia, thank you very much, man. Dude, you've been around forever. And now you are a member of the channel once more, I believe. I think you were. It says late 20. It says coming 2021 on mine. On my thingy here. On the trailer. On mine. Right? Yeah, coming 2021. Does it say late on like the Steam page? A lot of hit I didn't know about. Steam says late 2021. Ah, yeah, release date late 2021. Okay, so I think September is fair enough to say here. So if September, we've got 7 months. Let's say 7 months. We've got 9 legendary lords. We've got 4 factions. Let's assume 5 factions. Well, no, let's look at it this way. Chaos, Khorne, Tzeentch, Slaanesh, Nurgle, Kislev, Cathay, Undivided. Let's look at Undivided as a 7th one. If we're saying that there's going to be 9 legendary lords, 4 of them are Chaos Demons, 2 of them are Kislev, and 2 of them are Cathay. That makes sense to have 7 factions, because the 9th one we're going to say is look at this. There's like 2 of them. 2 of them are Cathay, 2 of them are Kislev. My brain's not working. Whatever, man. And 1 of them is Undivided. Oh. No, I think that 5 factions since the race pack might as well be included. I think that that's a different statement. I think that's separate. I think that that's not 9. Called it earlier. 9 is thankful. That'd be pretty funny, Jordan Aitken. But I think that they'll do is 7 months covering all 7 factions, because remember 4 demon, 5th for the Undivided, Cathay, and Kislev. And I think they'll do 1 faction each month, like they did for Warhammer 2. And we'll talk about why Undivided because of this sentence here. I think we'll do 1 a month like they did for Total War Warhammer. They'll release a cinematic trailer for that faction. They'll do a roster reveal. They'll discuss some development about it. They'll show some gameplay of them, and then just wrap it into the next one. Wrap it into the next one. Wrap it into the next one. I think that's what they're probably going to do. And the reason a lot of people have been saying that it'll be an Undivided Lord is because of this right here. And there is one who schemes to achieve just that, an ancient figure who desires nothing less than to wield supreme power. But to succeed, he will need a champion. And that we, a lot of us on, like all of us, I think, have collectively speculated that it is Be'lakor. Because Be'lakor has to guide the next Everchosen to all the artifacts to become the Everchosen. He's the very first demon prince, and it is his lot, is his punishment to never enter the actual mortal realm, the corporeal realm. He's stuck in the incorporeal chaos realm, influencing things from behind the scenes. In the Shadows over Albion campaign, it was about him trying to pierce the veil and come into the corporeal and like rue the day and trick the chaos gods once more. But at the last minute, boom, he was pulled to go help. Shadows over Albion, I can't remember if it's Asavar Kul or Archaon he goes to help. I believe it's Archaon he goes to help to become the next Everchosen. That's the Be'lakor's lot in life. So I think this is kind of a discussion about Be'lakor right there. That's a good question. Will Be'lakor be the Lord, or will his champion be the Lord? I had always thought it'd be Be'lakor, but maybe it will be his champion. Or maybe you as Be'lakor have to influence a champion. Yeah, Nagash only wants servants, and that's Nagash's goal, is to create a land of complete justice by having everyone undead subservient to him. I don't think I don't think Nippon could be added, but I thought Cathay would probably never be added. So who am I to guess now? Flying spaceship. Jake Hag, thank you very much, guys. We've had 3 new members here today, and members always help the channel out because it's dependable income every month. I don't need to worry as much about putting up videos. I can just rely on doing higher quality videos, which I've actually been doing the last 2 months, and it's been working out so well. You get access to all these custom emojis. You get a really cool little icon next to your name that changes as you stay a member. It becomes a different color and kind of goes up to a hierarchy of platinum at the top end. Oh, well, Jake, thank you very much, man. I appreciate that, dude. Matt the Fat, you know, you're the second person to ask that. Like, what about them being non-human factions? But I think that having them be kind of diverse human factions that have access to non-human units, I think is cooler than making them be just all non-human. Thank you, Crispies. What would make Undivided stand out and not just a lesser version of all other demons? Do they have unique units except for Be'lakor? Well, what makes them stand out is having the ability to dip into multiple marks of chaos in the army books, right? Like, okay, you've got super resilient chaos warriors, but then you've got super damaging chosen with Khorne on them, or you've got super magic resistant chaos warrior or chaos knights because they've got Tzeentch on them. I think it just depends. Or ward saves would be the mark of Tzeentch. So Undivided would give the abilities of whatever that respective chaos god would to the mortal units. Yes, Hiroko. I think the mysterious trailer guy is the mage from Total War Warhammer 1 cinematic and the narrator Warhammer 1. The Hill People flying spaceship? Yeah, we were just talking about them. There'll be yet another undead faction just like for Nagash, for Neferata, or they'd just be vampire count lords. No, Adam Russo, I think it would be like an undead legion where it would encompass probably like a high, like Nagash, I would imagine would have access to counts, pirates, and tomb kings in some variation. I would hope, because he's the master of it all, right? Also add in his Morghasts and the Morkane. Nope. That's a location. Mortarks. Do you think the Chaos Realm map will be equal to the Mortal map? I'm not sure, Grant Lego. They said that the campaign map is 2 times that of the Vortex map. So maybe that is the Chaos Realm underneath or above the Mortal Realm. Thoughts about new likely lores of magic? Lores of Heaven. Lore of... like spiritual heaven or something like that. The Cathay one. Also, the lore of ice for Kislev, and then the lore of Slaanesh, the lore of Tzeentch, the lore of Nurgle for all the chaos demons. Could you use your magic to force CA to give me jade vampires? Here, I'm in the mainframe. There it is. I found it. I'm going to issue a worm. Uh-oh. They found me. Okay. I'm going to hide my tracks. I'm using a Trojan. It's done. Lore of Ice. Gelatin Rider. Lore of Ice. Lore of the Great Maw, too. Lore of Hashut. Those are 2 good ones. The Kurgans. Yes. I would definitely think Kurgans are probably going to play a part. I'm in. I would hope Nagash would have an Archon Confederation point at least, maybe, right? Or Brasswing. I don't know, man. I'm just not big on Horde factions. They never hit the spacebar. And anyone who's coded knows that the spacebar and the enter bar are pressed all the time. That and the dash bars, which you can't just like naturally press like... Sebastian, I don't know. That'd be interesting. Come to Papa. Yeah, that's always they always do that too. Like, come to Papa, come to Daddy. Here it is. Or cha-ching or Yahtzee. They always got like the little taglines. Like, oh yeah, this Hollywood writer definitely doesn't understand how coding works or how hacking works. Has never used an MS DOS prompt in his life. All right, guys. My voice is hoarse. I am exhausted. This 300 milligrams of caffeine is starting to wear off. Swordfish the movie. Let's go ahead and roll some credits. I have a huge list of people to work through in saying thank you to. Yeah, hacking is very boring to watch, Roland Days. Although the movie Hackers is the best movie of the 90s. Bite me. I hope not. I hope not Horde, Wuya. But I think that I hope that they just, if they want to do Horde, they kind of like really revamp it and go crazy. Hackers is one of my favorite movies. I'm not even kidding about that. They're trashing our rights, bro. Hack the planet, hack the planet, hack the planet. I watched that movie like I think like the beginning of pandemic again. I'm like, zero cool. Mess with the best, die like the rest. Oh, did you go check out the did you check out the pool on the roof? Revenger with a massive donation here, 50 Norwegian kronu. Thank you for the stream. Thank you very much for watching, my dude. Let's go through these. Look at all these super chats, guys. This is the most I've ever received in super chats in a stream, guys. This is very generous. Thank you very, very, very much. I really appreciate it. Like I can't say that enough. So let's go through these. There's tons here to go through. Oh my God, can I just filter this by donations? Events, giveaways, live act. Like that. Perfect. Yeah, cool. There we go. So let's jump back 2 hours. All right. So Gallahan with our first donation here. Then we had, oh, no, that's not right, is it? No, it is. It is. Gallahan was our first. Turin's had so many birthdays on stream that I feel like that's not right. I feel like I'm missing a bunch on here. Yeah, because I don't see Piglets on here either. You have angered me. That's weird. No, it's not on my little thingy here, but I know where to find it all. So I'll go through the ones that happened directly to me first. But Gallahan, Zeb Edie, with their donations respectively. We had Ember Borgia with his or her donation. I'm not sure 100%. I'm sorry about that, Ember. Let me know which one it is and I will correct my pronoun. Lundgreen with his donation. And then did you just do another one? Oh, Ember just did another one. She, her? Okay. So Ember with her donation of $5 and Ember with her donation $5 ago as well. Thank you very much, sir, and congratulations. And let's go through the... Oh, and also we have some new members as well. Jake Hag, a new member. Ember Borgia, a returning member. Thank you very much. And we also have another member here. It's Iceni Raider. Wabam. Let me go through now all of the massive amount of super chats that we had. So Adam Felsheim, thank you very much. Piglet with the largest donation of the day. Massive 1,000 Swedish kronu. I think it's $118 we said it was. Through the roof, my dude. Take us out, Captain. Thank you very much, Piglet, who's been just dropping massive donations the last month and a half. So thank you again. And Drac von Karstein with the donation. Matt Jara with quite a few throughout the entire stream. But I'll give you the one here and we'll go through some more as we go through it. Gogol 45 with, I think he did like 3 total £5 donations. And thank you very much as well, man. Daniel Balln with the $20 donation. Sir Patrick the Great with the tenner. Buck with another 20. Thank you both very much. All three of you very much. Matt Jara again with another 5. Thank you once more. Wandering Bravo. Soyuz Boys. Thank you very much. Colby Drew. Gogol again. SSMCS, which I think did 2 $5 donations. Thank you. Diego Flores. Thank you very much, Mr. Flowers. Jarl of the North, thank you as well, sir, with the creepy fist bump sticker. Como Topic with the donation. Kyle Sinet with, I believe, 2 donations during this entire stream. Velcon with the 333 Russian rubles. Brandon Smith, another Matt Jara. Silent Gasp, another Gogol 45. Thank you all very, very, very much for your donations. Mengreng X, somebody nameless, telling me to keep up the great work. I will. Thank you. Keep up the great watching. We're at 958 likes, by the way, guys. 42 more likes. Get me there. Get that 1,000 likes. James Avosani, thank you very much. Calvin Gens, more Mengreng X, tons of these more $2 donations. Adam Felsign dropping another $5 bomb in my mouth with a little Mengran X sprinkled in with another $5 bomb. Then Matthew Jara just kind of peppering the top with another $5 bomb. Then Steven with 10, Mengran X again, Muramasa, Raz the Summoner, SSMCS, Clever Polar Bear, Rowinger, Drakenvault, another Matt Jar. Matt, you were everywhere today, dude. Kyle Sinet, another Matt. Martin, Christian Dilla, one of the more recent donations. And then Rowinger one more time to Rowinger us out for the stream. So thank you guys very, very much once again, guys. It was a lot of fun. I'm super stoked to talk about a lot of the speculation. You can already see that my Cathay video is pretty much written right now. So I'll be doing a Cathay unit roster video. I'm going to have a video come out tomorrow about my kind of thoughts on the Age of Sigmar End Times models and how I do think that they should really be used in Warhammer 3. And I think it's kind of like what I would really like to see. Could I ask one? Yeah, absolutely, Flying. Go ahead, my dude. Yeah, guys, and one last time, if you haven't, go ahead and use the Nexus link to purchase the game. If you're based in the EU, that will be live tomorrow or so. If you want to purchase through there, it helps me out a ton. But if you watch Indie Pride primarily and you just drop it in to say hi, please purchase through Indie Pride. If you watch H for Havoc or Party Elite, guys, just buy through the per person you want to support. It works for EU too now? Okay. So EU is now open. Dude, if we got some halflings love, I would love it. I would love it. Tommy M, what is Nexus? Nexus is a provider that talks directly to the game developer and says, hey, I have got, I guess, influencers or content creators or YouTubers, whatever you want to call me, Twitchers, that want to basically, it's an affiliate marketing link. And they have a direct relationship where they get a Steam key directly from the developer and then they give it to you. I get a substantial portion of that as a commission. They negotiate a margin with the game developer, and they give us 50%. It's always a 50-50 split. But every so often, they will allow us to have 100% of that split. It's a really awesome partnership. Yeah, Twitchers, man. That's what I did. I don't use Twitch, so I can call them whatever I want. Okay, I am gassed. I'm ready to take a break. My voice is beat. Thank you all very much for watching. Be on the lookout for plenty more speculation. If we get some more news, we might just do another one of these later. Like if they say on Monday, like, hey, here's more Warhammer 3 info drop. We'll be on the lookout. We'll be covering plenty of it. Lundgren, I'm definitely going to do that. We'll be covering plenty of stuff in the coming months. I'm sure we're going to have plenty to go over. It was just like the beginning of Warhammer 3 when they announced stuff. I was just rolling out lore speculation after lore speculation. It's going to be a lot of that same excitement, that same hype, and I'm just so stoked to jump into it with you guys. So thank you very much for joining me on the last 4-year adventure. I feel like Warhammer 2 has culminated in the launch of Warhammer 3 on the channel, so this is going to be really exciting. But if you're excited for Bannerlord, don't worry. I'm going to cover that patch. If you're excited for Crusader Kings 3, whenever they decide to do another DLC, which we know we will, we'll cover that. We have our Scotland campaign I'm going to start on Saturday. We're going to do a history time at the beginning to talk about the Indo-European Kurgans or Yama, somewhere, where the hell, I can't remember the name of them, and then the Roman Empire, followed by the Gaelic cultures that kind of migrate into Scotland and create Scotland, and the Picti, or the Painted People. And we'll go into the early history of Scotland and all those streams. But I gotta take a break, man. I gotta like lay down. Absolutely, Run Command. Thanks for joining in. Thank you guys all very much for watching here today. Have a good one. Be on the lookout for more stuff. Please go and check out everyone else's content on this. Turn-ins, Party Elites, Indie Prides, H for Havocs, Dov Plays, Lore Master of Sotek, J for Janet. Janet on occasion. Oh man, Heir of Carthage, Lionheart, Jackie Fish, everyone's covering it. Please go check them out. Make sure, I think that's the most fun. Oh, Turns right now, Turns live? Guys, let's toss on over to Turn. Let's go raid Turn, my bros. He's doing he's doing a Gran Torino Swiss League. So let's go raid Turin. Oh, Great Book of Grudges. Yeah, please go check out Great Book of Grudges. He has been doing the Lord's work with a lot of amazing speculation content. So please check out Great Book of Grudges. He's a great dude, and he just loves Warhammer so much. So he definitely deserves your eye if you like lore and speculation. So let's go and raid Turin. Let's close this out. Go ahead and follow this link onto Turin's chat. Let's raid this guy. Let's get him good.
He only costs.
He's in the middle of a stream, like of a battle, so he probably won't notice it.
Basically, he's just the tool for letting you get a
raid.
He costs almost nothing. Drop the Unclean, dropping a Rat Ogre summon behind the Plague Monk summon. Probably going to be rear charging into those Temple Guard here, and you can see Throt and the Packmaster just going fisticuffs with some Sars.
Oh,
you know, honestly, isn't going.
What up, Nick G?
A surprising amount of damage. So Warp Lightning Cannon still online, and it does get a direct hit on Tic Tac Toe. So
look at this. Look at the. Turn doesn't know anything about multiplayer. I taught him all this stuff. You see? You watch this, and it's like, I'm like, Turn, no. These units, they're going to be using their APs. And he's like, those don't have AP. I'm like, oh, they got AP, all right.
All these little annoying units are really pressing in, and you can see the Packmaster is like broken simply by fighting Saurus. Temple Guard now are pressing into Throt, and if those mortars aren't able to clean up those Temple Guard, I don't think anything in this army for the Skaven will be able to do so. How's it going, Spartacus? Hope you're doing well, man. Hope your speculation stream went well. Welcome. Warp Lightning Cannon still blasting away, and you can see that the Poison Wind mortars are now being.
All right, guys, head on over there.
A bit of doom here for the.
Oh, you should do a training vid before Warhammer 3 with Turin.
The Dreadlord Tic-Tac-Toe is back in business, baby.
Nick, I am super stoked, my bro.
Probably
super stoked.
Value, we'll see. Oh, 20 leadership he's holding now. Balance of power is slightly Skaven favored, but I think that's a little bit deceptive based on the armies. Hellpit Abomination.
I'm just watching this fight real quick.
Here. Warp Lightning Cannon and mortars are about to be shut down, and it looks like the Jezzails probably should be hunted as well. I don't know, it's hard to say. But it looks like the poor little skate.
All right, guys.
Is getting chased.
Go enjoy your day. Go jump on over to Turin. Watch that stream. And we will be back here with some more stuff in the coming days, weeks, months, as always. Thank you so much for watching. Wash your hands. Stay safe. Take care. And we'll be back again on Saturday with another stream and tomorrow with some more videos. But as always, have a good one and take care, guys.